have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla. Wake up, everyone! There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe enough. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Whoa, we're back. And hey, I'm just now noticing this photo as our backdrop. I don't think I've seen this picture yet, Jay. You got to send it to me. I don't know if I have this. Guys, we're back from Japan. We made it. We're here. I know it feels like we've been gone for a long time. We have. But Jay, thank you for keeping videos on the channel. I noticed you put it was so weird because you and Craig did the exact same thing, and I sort of felt bad for not doing any help, but you were like constantly making content for the channel, and Craig was constantly putting up videos on the Toy Anxiety channel, and I was like completely unaware that either of you were actually filming content while we were in Japan, like for the channel. So I was like, oh, I'm not in any of these videos. I didn't do anything. So
you made one cameo. No,
I show up here and there, but thank you for doing that.
It's funny. I would never. Craig's way better than I am at. It still doesn't come like. It's not my first thought, right? When I go into a store or a place, I'm like, oh, a store, place, awesome, yeah. And then it's like, oh, crud, I should probably go film it. So then I'll come back and like do a quick scan. That's why all of my videos, it's like rapid fire, herky jerky camera, because I'm like, oh, I got to do this before we leave. We got to catch a train.
Right.
But no, it was something to do before I went to bed. So yeah, but I can't believe we made it back. Oh my gosh, I didn't think we were ever gonna leave.
Yeah, we made it. We did a lot, and man, is like you said, we've been talking about it. We literally just talked about the trip in detail together for an hour before recording.
We should hit record.
Listen, we did a lot of stuff. We did a lot of Godzilla stuff. We tried to hit all the big. Jay, you went to Awaji Island. I'm jealous that I didn't get to go, but you did. But, we saw Toho Studios. We went to Sukagawa and saw all the Tsuburaya stuff. We saw, the Tsuburaya Museum, which I did not. Jay, I don't know if I told you this. I didn't look up the Tsuburaya Museum before we went. I had seen pictures of the statues in the town, and I knew what to expect, but I did not. I wanted the Tsuburaya Museum to kind of be a surprise. But I 100% thought it was going to be all Ultraman because that's what the town is. That's what it's Tsuburaya, Mm-hmm. I was not expecting to walk into the museum to a 100% Godzilla museum with actual. There were screen use props in there. Mm-hmm. I was not prepared for that. I don't know, dude. It made me so emotional in there. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Craig walked up to me one time. I was like kind of being by myself in there. And Craig walked up to me and he asked me a question. And I could not contain myself. And I was like, I don't know if you noticed this at all, but I was like,
no, you
Craig,
pulled it off.
Dude, I was bawling in there, and like Abby had to give me tissues. Like it was, it was insane because I was trying to stay away from everybody because I kind of felt embarrassed by it.
Oh, sure.
But
that place was. I think what hit me there more than anywhere, really on the trip, was like, here's this stuff that means a lot, to us. And we know we've talked about it, and a lot of people our age, like, it's a lot of us, it's been a very individual journey, right? A personal journey, because of, we grew up in times when we might've been the only Godzilla person that we knew. And the reverence and just like it literally is a museum, and this stuff is treated just as if it was some priceless Egyptian artifact.
There's like people in suits watching over it,
monitoring,
and like just to see like museum style displays of like a timeline, and it's like, oh, there's an original screen used oxygen destroyer. That is a big deal. Like that being in a room with the oxygen destroyer is. I was like, I remember we got in there. I was like, is this a prop or I was like, is this a recreation or I'm like looking at it. I'm like, this looks like it might be real. And me and you were like, trying to look on our phones to try to figure out, because I was like, there's no way they have like maser tanks in here that are replicas, right? That's got to be a real thing. And then we found out they're like screen use props. So I don't know like what capacity that oxygen destroyer was used in, if it was, you know, in the movie a lot, or, you know, I'm sure they had multiples, but you're like, okay, so there's a glass case with a screen used oxygen destroyer. And then there's this, you know, these big panels and displays of like Godzilla with the timeline and like picture. And I'm just like, I'm in a Godzilla museum, and it you know, it's just like, this is insane. Like it is very, very surreal to be in there.
I was having a hard time, you know, with like, you know, using the translator app and stuff to figure out on. For me, it was the Atragon, the Gotengo, the Atragon sub, and I went up and the main guy that was walking around like in the suit and stuff. I asked, I was like, I go real and I whatever, and he was like, yeah, and so like I was like, okay, I feel good now.
Because it's like, so the way that museum was, it was basically a bunch of X Plus figures, and they had the X Plus model figures, stuff, but then they had it set up like they had like fake books, like as if it was in a library, and the books were fake, but on the pages of the open books were like, you know, production photos from the or like early designs. That's what I really liked, is they would have like, you know, like a kaiju, like they had a like Anguirus, and then they have dinosaur books where it's like Ankylosaurus, you know, stuff. So you're seeing like what they're based on,
reference.
So it was like that, but then it was mixed with the real props, and like you said, it had the Atragon, which I was like, whoa, because it's huge. And then there's like
SY3.
And then there's like some like maser cannons from Godzilla versus Biollante, and some tanks, and like a couple random things. There were some Godzilla dorsal fins, and like a head that would have been like underneath the suit, like the animatronic.
That wasn't the only time I ran into that head on the trip.
I saw that. I did see that they specifically said that the head was a recreation. But then I saw it in your other photos, and I was like, oh, okay, there's one over there too. But then there's a Godzilla suit in there, and it's not not a suit that was used in any of the films, but used in the film. A short film for the museum. It's like a recreation of the 54 suit, and yeah, dude,
it's a cool place.
I'm so glad we got to do that together.
And how cool is it? Just the whole, like, the fact that it's like a museum, but it's in this giant civic center, library, learning annex, like community center, where like you literally had like boardroom, like business meetings. You had kids in libraries. You had like people had little kiosks where they were selling their wares, and then also a giant King Joe, Red King, and Bolton statue at the bottom.
What?
In a coffee shop, you know, like, I mean, it was, that place was, I mean, and also in the whole context of that town, which is like, I fell in love with instantly.
Yeah.
It was just, it was truly, the highlight of highlights, when it comes to the trip. Cause it was just like, I mean, a street lined with Ultra Kaiju statues and Ultraman themed bakeries and everything, and then you have this Subaru Museum to cap it off, on top of like just other cool things in the city, in the town, on top of it. Like it was just like perfect. And we got pretty good weather for that day, because there was supposed to be rain and stuff, and we missed it going out there. So it turned out to be pretty perfect. And Craig had made a huge new friend, the old lady at the shrine, who we will call Martinez, because that's what his translator kept on saying when he had it in the wrong language. That was also another unplanned highlight.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show like how nice and like just how cool and respectful people are over there. She just wanted to she knew she couldn't understand that we couldn't understand anything she was saying, but she wanted to help us out.
Oh yeah.
That was my favorite day of the whole trip,
Yeah.
Jay. And I had a feeling it was going to be. I was really happy that we got to spend. We actually spent that whole day together, and there was another day that we got to at least get dinner together.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
our trips overlapped a little bit, but I will say, like, we just spent it was basically 2 weeks of shopping and going to stores and Nakano Broadway and all the Mandarakes we could get to and all the Godzilla stores we could get to. I think I saw 4 Godzilla stores. I don't know how many there are.
4, I think. I think Daibo is the 4th one. I think there's 4.
I think there's 5, isn't there? We went to 4. There might be. Maybe there is only 4. So there's
Tokyo.
2. Well, there's. This is how I can remember how many there are. There's one. The newest one has the Shin Godzilla.
Yep.
There's 2 that have the -1. One is a regular one. One has the glowing dorsals.
Shinjuku and there's 2 in Tokyo, right? There's Shibuya and Shinjuku, or just Shinjuku?
Yes. I don't know. And then there's another. There's what Godzilla's in the other one?
A GMK?
There's Shin. There's Shin. There were 2 -1s. And then there was another one. But I thought I saw photos of another Godzilla store that has a burning Godzilla in it.
Oh, very cool.
And I did not see a burning Godzilla statue. So I'm thinking, did we only go to 3 Godzilla stores? Maybe we went to 3 and that's the 4th one?
I don't know. Like I said, I know there's the one in Shinjuku. That's the flagship one. That's the one with the regular -1 that's over by the 3D cat billboard and stuff like that.
That was the first one we went to.
And then Daiba's the new one with the giant gashapon machine.
We did that on the last day, and I did the machine.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Did you?
I did not. I went there. There was 3 or 4 people in the line in the gashapon, and I was checking out, and then I saw that sign at that Loschenbong store right behind it that had like the vintage case. Yeah. And I went over there and I was like, oh, I kind of like squirrel, and I never went back to get it. And but it was really cool. That the gashapon was like probably the coolest thing in any of the Godzilla stores.
It's weird because I don't love the prizes that are in it. They're not like the best. There were 2 that I was like, oh, I'll be happy with these 2. Mm-hmm. I don't want these 2 at all. I got one of the ones that I was happy with. I wanted the -1 God. I think the -1 Godzilla is the best one. It's not the one I got, but I'll show off what I did get later on.
So the burning Godzilla is in Shibuya. So that's Tokyo. Shibuya is the burning Godzilla. I didn't go there. It's funny. We were in
Shibuya at some point. I know
it was in the Parco building too. It was in the same one with T-Base, the same one with there. It was over by Godzilla, where like Godzilla.
Oh, we went to T-Base. Oh, so I was in there. I didn't know there was a Godzilla store there. I went to T-Base, and I spent like half a day in Shibuya because I went to there's like 2 Mandarakes over there. We went to Hands, we went to T-Base, and then there's another store. Oh, there's like a Medicom store that's not great over there, like with all the bear stuff. That's a bummer finding out that it was like, oh, we were right there with it. I was in that Parco building at some point.
You know what I just found out today? Like, it just was announced today. The T-Base store there, which unfortunately, like, they don't in that T-Base store, they don't carry any of their licensed stuff, like IP, like Godzilla and stuff, which stinks because they have really cool Godzilla stuff. In fact, I grabbed one from a different store. It's closing. It's going to be, I think, the end of the month. It's going to be, they're closing that down. So hopefully that's not a bad sign on like the stuff that they're making with like FrogTree and Bandai and stuff like that. But it's going away. So I will say I was surprised. Like,
I was surprised with the amount of Mandarake stores. I was surprised with the amount of like official. I mean, you would run into. So like, I didn't know what all was in like the Skytree, but the Skytree, I had like vague.
Yeah.
I vaguely even knew what the Skytree was. You know, it's like I've heard of it because it's really tall.
Hey,
and
you've seen my 3 foot tall vinyl Skytree that glow in the dark.
But now I want that because I saw it every day of the trip because we stayed right beside it. Like we were our Airbnb was walking distance of the Skytree, so I saw it every single day. And then it wasn't until it was like the second half of the trip before I actually went to the Skytree. I was like, hey, Skytree's right there. Let's go over there. So we went, and I did not realize that the inside of the Skytree is like a mall. And when we walked in, and we were like, oh, there's stores. There's like, you know, all these weird themed stores. And then we got on an escalator and got off. And then the first thing I saw when I like came around the corner was I was like, there's an official Ultraman store in here.
Yep.
And that blows my mind because like
there's one in Tokyo Station too.
Is there?
Yeah.
It blows my mind because over here, Ultraman it is very rare that you find somebody who knows what Ultraman is to me. Like in normal, you know, in real life, like it's popular. And like, I know all of our friends know who Ultraman is, but it's like, I didn't even really start getting into Ultraman until we started doing the show. You know what I mean? I always like kind of knew what it was, but it wasn't content that I consumed until we started podcasting. And then, you know, you fall in love with it, but in the real world, I can say Godzilla to anybody and they know what it is. But if you say Ultraman, they're like, what is Ultraman? So then when you're in Japan, where Ultraman, you're seeing more Ultraman stuff than you're seeing Godzilla stuff. And then there's an official store that has like a life-size Ultraman and all this stuff for kids and collectibles and clothing. And I'm like, this is so crazy to me. Like that, it's so cool, man. And all the different Godzilla stores, even though the official Godzilla stores are, how do you say it? Basically have zero merchandise that like a collector would actually want. It's like mass. It's like the people who aren't really into Godzilla probably buy stuff at the Godzilla store, you know? And there's no like, you're not like collecting Sofubi at the Godzilla store.
No,
there's some cool stuff and there's some cute stuff, but mainly I like going because it's like I'm in an official Godzilla store. There's a 9-foot Shin Godzilla, which to me was the coolest thing.
100%. Yeah, I mean, if you're into Bandai, and depending on which one, like the Daiba one had a lot of X Plus and stuff, but even some of that like wasn't for sale.
Well, I also noticed. Display. So one of the things that I wanted to buy in Japan, but did not, was I really wanted one of the jackets, one of the like embroidered jackets. I only saw them at 2 of the Godzilla stores that I went to. And the ones that they currently have for sale are not, they're like Godzilla 2000, you know, like Millennium Godzilla. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend $250 on a fucking jacket or with Millennium Godzilla on it, you know? So, I was like, damn, all right, you know, I guess I'm not getting one of those jackets on this trip. But, other than that, I grabbed a couple small, you know, when we get to pickups, like I got a couple small things. I did end up grabbing like a Bandai thing at one of the Godzilla stores that I only saw at the Daibia store. I didn't see it at the others. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
I wish I would have had you. I wish you would have been with me at the Daiba Godzilla store because I was, if I would have had somebody filming it, I think I would have done it. Would have freaked somebody out. But they weren't a Japanese person, so I figured it would have been a bit easier because it would have really been very rude. But somebody was like, you know, they had all the big T-shirts and jackets and stuff right next to the kind of to the left of the counter. And somebody literally was taking the Godzilla, the Mega Gearus shirt off, and I was going to grab and be like, no, you don't need that.
Hey, Craig asked me, Craig was like, you know, he's not a big Godzilla person, but over the course of the 2 weeks in Japan, he's like, he's surrounded by it.
Yeah.
So he's like asking me all these questions, and he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to try to watch some when we get back. And at one point he goes, hey, which Godzilla kaiju do you like the least? And I was like, Mega Gears. It's Mega Gears. He's the lamest.
Don't watch that one. No, it is funny, like, traveling. You obviously had a few, but me traveling with my wife, like, they're like, she just by like proximity now, like, knows more about Ultraman and stuff that she ever really wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, it's there. And hey,
learn
one of the days, man, we're gonna get AJ Quick to get his Specium Ray done. That is posed down.
I thought it was so funny he even did that.
I think it was great. But no, it was what a crazy place. But yeah, I agree with you. The Godzilla stores, like, when we go back, like, it's not going to be like, I don't need to go in there unless there's
it's like you can skip. You can skip it for some of the other things that you want to spend. I mean, like, somebody left a comment on the Toy Anxiety from last night saying, take a drink every time anybody says Mandarake. But like, there's a ton of Mandarake stores, and I would have liked to have spent twice the amount of time in all of them, because they are like labyrinths of I'd seen tons of video in the year leading up to Japan, and like, we order stuff from Mandarake, so it's like already in our minds, but when you go inside of a 6-story Mandarake, it's just like, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff in there. They pack stuff in.
Besides the smells, like, being surrounded by that stuff is like, cool.
It's weird because as a collector and someone who wants to buy the stuff, it's the way the store is set up, I don't think is like great, because everything's behind glass. So you can't, some things you're like, oh, I can't even see what's behind this, and sometimes you can't see the prices. And then, especially, something I noticed about every bookstore in Japan is that every book on every shelf, used or not, is wrapped in plastic, and you cannot open the book. You have to just buy it based on the cover. And that's a little bit of a problem for me, because the books are the things that I'm very interested in buying. Those kind of books, and weird Japanese books, and you're in the Mandarakes, and there's huge sections of Godzilla books in there, and a lot of them are like, you can just be like, these are kind of junk, they're just the pretty average book that's just like the making of this movie or that movie, or just photos. So you're like kind of having to find the ones where you're like, oh, well, this looks like it's something different, or this is
the
something
weird one.
But you can't look in them. So like, I bought a couple books. I bought a couple big books that I was like trying to Google the book to see if anybody had posted photos of the inside, because I'm like, all right, I'm about to buy a $50 book here without looking at the inside.
No pictures inside.
No pictures. But I was very excited about all of the hunting. A lot of toys. Got to see some Godzilla filming locations. I say that because
you did a great job about hitting all those up.
Well, I looked up a couple. That's my favorite thing to do when I travel, is to find filming locations. And when you're watching Godzilla movies, sometimes you are, he's just destroying what to us looks like a generic city, even though it is Japan. But it's like, we don't live there. We don't know these buildings. Like, those people probably know the buildings. But when I was starting to do the research, you realize, like, oh, like, subconsciously, without realizing it, I have been watching Godzilla destroy this same clock tower my entire life. Like, I was like, oh, there's this clock tower that's in Tokyo, and it's like Godzilla destroys it in the original film. He destroys it in Shin Godzilla. He destroys it in -1. He destroys it in the fucking the anime. In Godzilla, like it's in like 10 Godzilla movies, and then you're like, oh my god,
there it is,
and then you're in front of it, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh my fucking, and I mean, I know they filmed it on a miniature, they're not, they didn't actually film it right here, but it's like that's the building, and
It still
same
counts.
thing with we went to a bridge there was a bridge really close to where we were staying that is like one of the big famous shots from 54. And I'm just like, what the fuck, and we were able to hit a couple of those spots, and there's a couple that I really wanted to hit that we'll have to do on the next trip. But
you know which one I want to do, and I wasn't able to do it on this one. We got to put it on the list. Is I want to do the from Godzilla versus Mothra '92, the Yokohama the Ferris wheel.
Me too. I want it. So whenever we got to Osaka, there's a big Ferris wheel in Osaka.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that the Ferris wheel? Yeah. And I was like sitting here looking it up. I'm like, oh, it's not. There's 6 Ferris wheels. I did the same thing we went to Osaka Castle.
Yeah.
And the climax of, Godzilla raids again is with the Osaka Castle. So I got those photos. But then when you're looking at pictures, like if you Google Godzilla Osaka Castle, you get the pictures from Raids Again, but then also Godzilla is at a different castle in Godzilla versus Mothra.
Mm-hmm.
And those pictures are really good. And I found somebody who pretty recently went to that castle and got like the same, and I was like, ooh, I want to do that. So we're at Osaka Castle thinking that's the castle from Godzilla versus Mothra because they're very similar in the way they look, and it was hard to find a distinction. And I was like, oh, are they not? But then I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, oh, they're not at Osaka Castle. And Osaka Castle is only Godzilla Raids Again. And then it's a different castle in King Kong versus Godzilla. They destroy another castle.
Yeah, that's a Tommy castle. Yeah,
that's a Tommy. And then the one in Godzilla versus Mothra is a complete. And I'm like looking it up, and I'm like, oh, we're nowhere near it. It's 3 hours that way. So, the spot I wanted to hit, there's the National Diet Building, which we were close to, but never like close enough. We weren't like in walking distance. We were like, well, it's 2 miles that way, but that building is in a lot of films. It's in King Kong versus Godzilla. It's in Mothra versus it's in a bunch of Godzilla films. I wanted to hit that, and then there's a spot about 2 hours south of where we were staying in Tokyo, and it's like a beach area, and it's really pretty and scenic, but it is the beach where Shin Godzilla in his final form makes landfall. And I saw pictures where somebody went to the locations in there. It's just exactly like it was in the movie. And also sort of close to that area is the slide. There's a Godzilla slide. That's not like, I mean, it's like not close, but if you're going to the slide,
same region, same prefecture, probably.
It's in the same area. But I want to do that, maybe on the next trip. But yeah, dude, we got to see a lot. It was cool, like going to Godzilla Square.
Oh yeah, 100%. I love that Shin statue. In Hibiya Square, like. I think that's so cool, especially like I know you saw like also like in the day with your picture with the bird on its head with the bird, but also like at night, like when we ate at a restaurant right like 2 blocks from there one night, and then we walked over to it, and it was gorgeous how they light it up at night and stuff. It was very, very cool. That was a cool statue.
The only thing that could be better is if it was life size, because Shin Godzilla freezes at the end of the film, and if you're just walking around Tokyo and you're like, oh yeah, that's Shin, like
just hanging out.
that would be amazing.
Hollow him out and put some offices in there.
Well, what's crazy is so what is that? It's in Hibiya. Is that how you say
Square,
it?
Yeah, Hibiya.
So, that's all in walking distance of the bridge we went to, because we took a train to the bridge, saw the like I don't know what the bridge is called. I just call it the Godzilla Bridge. It's the Godzilla Bridge.
Works for me.
Saw the bridge. The bridge has a little free museum you can go into, which we did. Got a stamp. I was a little annoyed that inside the museum there wasn't like a big blow up photo of Godzilla at the bridge, because it's a really iconic picture.
Yeah.
But the museum was cool. But then from the bridge, we walked to a breakfast spot, got some really awesome vegan fluffy pancakes. They were amazing. Nice. But then from there, I was like, oh, we're close to Godzilla Square. We can walk there.
Yeah.
So we walked to Godzilla Square, but in the middle of the restaurant and Godzilla Square was the clock tower. And I didn't even know we were in the area of the clock. We just came up on it and I was like, oh, that's the clock tower. I was like, that is the Godzilla clock tower. So I was like, what the fuck? So we just hit like 3 Godzilla locations all in a row, you know, and they're all in the same, they're all like within a mile of each other.
Yeah. So. It's one of those things that there's just so much to do, whether it's in general or specific to Godzilla, specific to Ultraman, specific to whatever. Like, you would need 17 trips to hit, you know, filming locations and stores and museums. And that's what's great about it. Like, it's just, there's so much, you know, we both packed in a lot in our 2 weeks, and there's still a lot of meat left on that bone to go back and we check everything out. Yeah.
And we both did like a lot of the same stuff, but we also did different stuff. Like, you got to go to Awaji Island. I didn't get to do that. We both went to the Godzilla Hotel, but you stayed in the Godzilla Hotel.
We did, just for one night, just the last night.
I'm so jealous because that Godzilla room looks amazing.
It was really cool. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? And it was funny. You were a little bit like, I got to use you as my scout, because you, a lot of the stores in Tokyo, you went to like a day or earlier that day, a day before I did, and you were giving me good feedback. And I was like, oh, well, I don't need to waste my time going to Medicom because it's only Bear Brick. Thanks, Jake. This store, like, don't need to go here because they're like, it was awesome. I was like, I didn't plan for that, but I was like, Jake is like giving me all this insight, and I was optimizing my to-do list based on what you were saying.
I mean, that's what's good about like having multiple people taking the same trip. I was like, whatever. Well, you know, like, it did feel a little bit like me and Jess and AJ went out to the, you know, T-Base and all those stores, and we got up early and got there before they opened, and we're like waiting on the Medicom store to open outside the door. And then we walked in and we're in there for 2. We're like 2.
Yeah.
We're like,
no.
This sucks. You know, and
I
like,
know people love Bear Brick. I know.
Yeah, that's just not for us. That's not for us. That's not what I'm there to buy. So like, and then also there were 2 other stores we went to in that area that were both kind of like duds. You know, they weren't like great. And so we were like, you know, I don't want to, we weren't like wasting time. It was still fun to do all that, and we got to do other stuff, but we did get to be like, all right, Jay, you don't even have to come over here if you don't want. Like, there's no Sofubi in here. There's no Sofubi in here. Yeah. This store didn't have any Sofubi, you know, like, so it was fun.
You know what's also kind of crazy, and I guess like this would have been a good place to start. Like, so you guys were in town like 2 days before me. Like your crew came in, and we got in 2 days, and so we literally land, and we go to try to make the Marusan pop up, which we did not make because the QR code machines were down in customs, and so like it literally took us like 2 hours to get through customs, and then like they finally got back up and running, and then like it moved really fast. But anyway, so we get there, and I love how you described it on either Toy Anxiety or YHS. I can't remember. It was like literally me and my wife meet you guys in an empty like expat bar in Osaka. And like it, and then like I meet one of our buddies from Japan who I never got to meet in person. So, and who doesn't speak English. And it was just, it was a one of those weird, wacky moments, but like for me it was the greatest way in the world to start off the trip, because I'm like, it's just, this is just,
you had just landed.
I mean literally like this was the most like wackiest stuff and buying toys and stuff, and it was just like in this weird kind of underground location, and and I was like, what a way to start it off. But and then we got to hang out that night too, which was cool.
Went and got some ramen, some real,
which was
real
great
ramen. What's crazy about that night is like yeah, that was like 2 days into our trip, but it still was so.
Yeah.
We were still like trying to get you. We were like, "What the fuck? We are in Japan, and we're meeting Jay Key in an alleyway." And like, what's crazy is like we got there late. We didn't get to the pop up either, but we got there before you. And I'm sitting there and like I'm like, oh, there's Kaminaga, like putting all his toys in a van.
Box.
He's like got a box and like, and I was like, that's full of Sofubi, you know. And like we're just sitting here watching him load it into a truck and leave. You pull up, and I'm like, this is just so weird that all my best friends are we're hanging out
in an alleyway.
We're in an alleyway in Japan in an empty bar. You're
literally
buying toys.
The only ones there. Yeah. With a guy coming in with like duffel bags of toys, like literally like a dealer. I liken it to
illegal, but
I liken it to the time at Decon when you and I we got locked in the where the train tracks were, and we literally had to like jump over an overpass to get in. I was like, it's one of those weird moments that it doesn't make sense. Except for that time and place. But for us, it was just like, I was like, well, like we can go back now. It's not going to get any cooler and weirder and wackier than this. This is pretty much the highlight. But that was super fun. That was, like I said, the best way to start it off. And then we saw you guys, like, I guess, like that was like on a Saturday. And we saw you, we did Sukagawa on Monday. So like it was right out of the gates. We got to hang out with you guys for a while. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was good. Man, the trip was amazing. Like we'll probably be referencing it for the next couple of episodes. We're going to be talking about it. Like, I think it's safe to say we're going to try to get back over there and do some more. But we got a lot of pickups here, Jay. So you got a little bit of news, not a ton of stuff, but we're going to talk about some news. And then we'll get into these pickups.
Yeah, 100%. This is a pickup show, but normally I was like, we're not going to do news today. There's no point. Like, we don't need to talk about toy releases. Like, everybody can figure it out. But while we were gone, there was two kind of like major things that happened that like I feel like they were big enough for us to at least acknowledge and get any kind of initial thoughts. So, with that,
it's the Monster Island news for you. It's everything about kaiju. From that Monster Island crew, there are others that do it and they're okay to choose. But there's only one super trusted, amazingly handsome Monster Island crew. Can you believe they're doing that to the MonsterVerse? You missed another on Raku lottery, that's the worst. You didn't hear about all those exclusives, no, you're not cursed. You just need another source for news and you'll find out first. Oh yeah, the Monster Island moves for you. It's everything about kaiju from that Monster Island crew.
Alrighty, so let me add this here. And we got a couple movie news notes. And once again, these are big. These are worthy of interrupting our 7,000 pickups that we're going to go through. So the first one, they announced that officially, like, the new Yamazaki project, that the Godzilla project, is going to be a direct sequel to -1. So I have to ask, initial thoughts?
I'm kind of mixed on this.
Me too. Me too.
Godzilla -1 did a lot for Godzilla, I think, and I mentioned this on one of the other shows. I feel like Godzilla -1 is kind of the first time America has overwhelmingly like taken Godzilla seriously because of -1. -1's it is amazing. It's a fucking perfect movie. So part of me doesn't want a sequel to it because I'm like, oh man, it's really easy for a sequel to not be as good as the first, and I kind of don't want to even try. I also am a big fan of like just every Godzilla movie being insanely different from the last one. I love Shin is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I love how weird it is, and then I love how different -1 is. I love how different, I like that about Godzilla. So part of me is like, oh, I don't need a sequel. But then also, -1's amazing, and I really love what he says here about trying to achieve a more serious tone with kaiju versus kaiju. So we know Godzilla's going to be fighting another. Like he's heavily said, like he wants -1 to fight, and I want to see that. You don't. The last couple of Godzilla movies have just been Godzilla. I want to see him, fight another kaiju, whether it's Hedorah or not. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a new kaiju or a whatever. So, like, I am excited about that. I'm excited he's coming back. I'm excited, that it's going to be, probably the same crew and everything. So, I'm a little of both minds of it.
I'm 100% with you on everything. I feel very confident and comfortable that Yamazaki's back. And I agree. I think the thing that made me really comfortable is like he has acknowledged that, like when you throw in the kind of the wrestling match type of kaiju film, like it's hard to achieve a serious tone, right? Like it's something that it's just not as easy when you have just Godzilla being a singular, whether it's a metaphor of whatever it might be. And I think that's a worthy challenge. And if anybody can do it, I don't bet. I'm not going to bet against Yamazaki. And I think that's kind of cool that they can try to do that.
Yeah. Another like side effect of bringing in another kaiju is it always instantly makes Godzilla a good guy. And that's not always the plan. Like, I mean, you watch -1. I don't watch -1 feeling like, ooh, I hope he becomes a good guy. It's like you want to see him be like that, and that's where all the seriousness comes from. And same with like, can you imagine if they made a sequel to Shin Godzilla and it's Shin Godzilla fighting another monster and Shin Godzilla is the good guy? Like that's just weird.
Yeah,
and like
100%.
Some of the movies are able, I think about like Godzilla versus Biollante, the greatest movie of all time. Like, that Godzilla spends 30 minutes fucking up Tokyo and still fights Biollante. And you don't really watch that movie feeling like Godzilla's a good guy. He's not really. Yeah. So like it can be done, but it's really easy to be like, well, that other kaiju's really bad. So we'll see.
I think it'll be, if anything, I think he will do something that is not it's expected, right? I think he will. I think he'll do something that's.
I have complete trust in him to.
And
-1's amazing. Yeah,
he's earned it. He's earned it. Do whatever you want. I am also. I like you. I don't care if it's an original kaiju, a new kaiju, or if it's a new take on an old kaiju, or if it's a very similar take on an old kaiju with maybe a different backstory or whatever. Does not matter to me. I'm not viewing it, just as Godzilla has been reinvented so many times positively. I think I would like to see another kaiju with a bigger reinvention. Mothra is always kind of the same. Outside of GMK, King Ghidorah is kind of always the same. Yeah. Rodan is a little better in the MonsterVerse, but still kind of always the same. I want, if it is an Anguirus or a Hedorah or a Destroya, like, how can just as you've done with Godzilla, how can you make it better, more serious, more ominous? And if it's a savior type kaiju, like how can you make it different than all the other times that Godzilla and other kaiju has been the savior? Kaiju? Like that's what I'm looking. I'm really just looking forward to like what his brain and the crew and everything put out, because I know it'll be interesting, and that's all we want in Godzilla movies now, is to be different and interesting, and I think having the MonsterVerse as a very big counterbalance and counterpoint to it will help, because it's easy to not, it's easy to be more serious than whatever with the MonsterVerse.
Good segue.
Okay, now this is big for us. No, anybody that knows you knows that you're obviously a huge Jurassic Park fan. Sam Neill is one of my favorite actors. Literally, like Kurt Russell and Sam Neill are my two favorite actors, and now they're both. Yeah,
Sam Neill is my favorite actor of all time. He's my favorite actor. I mean, Jurassic Park is a perfect movie, and Alan Grant is a character that I, loved as a kid, I still do. And I've always loved that Sam Neill picks. He seems to like, he's not in a ton of stuff. You know, he doesn't show up a lot, but he picks really interesting movies to be in. He did like a big run of really great horror films when he was younger. To be in a Godzilla
and he also
movie,
did Merlin.
To be in a Godzilla, I mean, yeah, this is the actor I would want to be. I would choose Sam Neill to be in anything. So I love that he's in a Godzilla film. Now, my only hope is that the third Godzilla Kong movie is not trash.
Hey, I'll give him this. It's gonna be trash, so let's move on from that. But like, it's by far the best cast. Like, well, I mean,
but they
have real actors?
Isn't it a new director that it's not the same guy who did the last
Wingard.
Two?
That's
and
Vittori
I like Wingard. I've liked other stuff, but I you know, I don't. It doesn't feel good to watch the Godzilla movies get worse and worse as they go on. So I'm hoping this feels different. I hope it's got a different tone. I hope it's a little more less dumb. And I just hope it's a better script. Yeah. I hope it's a better movie. And I can see Sam Neill helping that come true for me.
100%. 100%. I just remember when we were watching Monarch on Apple, like the first time I was like, Kurt Russell said like Godzilla. I'm like, holy crap. Like literally Jack Burton is in.
Yeah.
Freaking Snake Plissken is in the MonsterVerse. And now Dr. Alan Grant. Like, it's like, what?
Yeah, dude.
So this got me like it. I wouldn't say I wasn't not excited. I'm always excited for new Godzilla content, especially big films. And we'll be there at opening day in our Godzilla gear watching it. But with this announcement, I'm now like legitimately really excited for this.
Yeah. Yeah,
just
me
like,
too.
Even if he's in it for 30 seconds, I don't care if he has some interaction with Godzilla. I mean, that is literally Jurassic Park and Godzilla overlapping in the coolest way possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Jurassic Park Easter egg in the Godzilla 2014. There's a Dr. Grant that you never see, but you hear him talk about a couple times. And I remember reading that that's literally a Jurassic Park.
Maybe that's him.
Throwback.
Maybe he's playing
Dr. Grant. Yeah,
that would. What if his name is Dr. Grant Allen? I mean, it could be
stupid. That's dumb. Anyway,
do it. Oh, hey, wouldn't even make the top 10 dumbest things in the MonsterVerse. Not even the top 20.
You're right. You're right.
But anyway, I had to mention those two things because an official sequel and Sam Neill coming in the MonsterVerse.
Yeah. Gotta talk about that.
That even, like I said, I couldn't overlook those two. And then there's been a zillion toy releases. There's been other news. I know filming is underway for the new MonsterVerse film. But none of that is near as important as our pickups. But these two things were.
A lot of pickups. I know some of this stuff I'm probably going to fly by because some of it is, I bought all kinds of shit. And then I have some stuff that I'm going to show off that I got before the trip. But after our last episode, I have bought stuff since we've gotten back. And I'm very, and I know like we both know some of the stuff that we got at Japan, but I don't know everything. I'm kind of in the dark as to what all you bought.
I don't even know all the stuff.
You cheat a little bit because you get to watch Toy Anxiety and you see some of it. And I'm always like, fuck, Jay already knows what I got. So, but I didn't show off everything. I mean, I showed off a lot of the big stuff, but I didn't show off everything on Toy Anxiety. And I'm also going to show off everything, like, because I got a ton of shit that is not toys, but it's still kaiju related. So we'll show.
Of course, no, me too. Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. So, do you want to do some pickups?
Let's do some pickups.
They love that sweet sound final. Get it as much as they can. Sometimes Sometimes it's a glitter Godzilla, and sometimes it's Spectreman. For those best exclusives, it's gonna cost lots of yen. And let's hope that Sofubi is off their holiday top 10. Yeah! We got Kaiju pickups. Oh, what a glorious day. Oh, Kaiju pickups. Now back to Jake and Jay.
Every time I see that, whenever I pull apart the Hedora that I got at Decon, I'm like, whoa, that thing's cool. It's like I forget.
The one that always gets me is I love when you show the purple Garamon one. I think that one is so cool. That one looks so good. I was
so happy to get that. I remember the day we both, because you bought one too, and it was like, what was it? It was during a holiday. It was like Christmas or the day after Christmas or something.
And Monster Patrol come up.
Yeah, Monster Patrol, they went up for sale, and I remember trying to be quick because it was like they only had like one of each of the color variant.
I think it was what they had left over from like one of their like Marusan pop-ups or something they did there. Yeah. No, that was a cool piece.
That's one of my favorite toys.
Oh, it's great.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah. Jay, what do you want to do? You want to? How you want to start?
Do you want? I might start with some things that I didn't get in Japan that came either like right before it or right after it. Because I got a few like actually big things. That just once again they were either things that I bought a long time ago and they just finally shipped or whatever. But I'm gonna start off with this.
The top 10 wishlist pickup alert.
This came literally the day before I left for Japan, and I was a little nervous because but I gotta first off, this will give it away, but I have to show you the box. Look at this box. So from the top 10 from Sicaluna, I was able to get the Magic Serpent set. Now there are two Sicaluna at two variations, and it's not just a colorway variation on the frog monster and the dragon monster. They each come with a different premium. So this one is kind of the good guy set because it comes with the good guy eagle. And then there is a different one that is they have a different colorway that comes with the spider. So I have yet to find that one, but these are so I love Sicaluna. But look at these guys. So here's the Gamma. Here's the frog monster.
Oh yeah.
These are so cool. Love these so much. Look how beautiful this is. This is the dragon. Look at this. Look how cool this is.
Those are beautiful toys.
Yeah. And then they
dude.
And then they come with, this is the little eagle. It's like a little finger puppet kind of size. There is the little eagle that comes with it. So I want to get I want to get the other set because I do want the spider, right?
Is the other set like the same two guys but in different? Are they different?
Colors.
Just different colors? Yeah.
Yep. It's literally these set, and I love that. Like when they released a set, it's not. I mean, as a collector, I wish I could have got them all in one, but like I think it's a cool thing to have like not just colorways, but the premium is different.
Hey Jay, real quick, Craig told me this last night when we're doing a lot of pickups. See if you can turn the blur off of your camera.
See.
That's why I got mine turned off. Is Craig said whenever you're showing a lot of pickups, and you got the blur thing on, a lot of times it's.
Let me see, and that is
if you just scroll up your top bar, there should be a camera.
Yep. Is it the portrait or the studio light?
I think it's portrait.
Portrait. Let me turn it off. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
So here it is. If I couldn't see it on the first time, there he is.
Yeah.
But absolutely love it. So that was a cool one. And but it wasn't there. I also got from Medicom. Now, I know you haven't watched any of the Space Iron Man Kyodine, but that was a top 10 for me to get those Medicom, the Toei ones. Well, they also, as that in that kind of release, that series for Kyodine, Medicom also released kind of it's a Dada robot soldier. It's kind of the Foot Clan foot soldier of the main bad guy, the Dada army.
Mhm.
So I was able to get him as well. So here's to go with him. Here's like the main bad guy foot soldier
Nice.
for that one in that Medicom classic, like Toei retro
Yeah.
Sofubi style. So that was kind of cool to be able to pick him up because I wasn't expecting to. Then listener of the podcast, good friend of mine, Drew Brooks, he was selling some stuff on in one of the groups, Facebook groups, right? And he had one thing that I've actually been looking out for, and I haven't found it for like a reasonable price. And he was selling it for, oh my God, what an amazing price. It was so great. So I have to thank him because from a company that I guarantee will be in the toy line of the year this year, because I think they're making huge waves and they're different and they're really disrupting everything. And that's Inca Vinyl.
Mhm.
And I was able to get from their Godzilla Parade series, their first release. So I was able to get him.
Oh, dude. Those are great. I love those. I want to get one of those guys.
The Space
They're so
Godzilla's
cool.
great.
Yeah.
The 64 that they did
Mhm.
great. Like this one, but I wanted this one. And he had it and I was like, oh my gosh. And like I said, Steel was so cool that he was able to do that. And I was like, please say you still have it. Please have it not sold. So very pumped for this one. This one I was really excited for. Then one that you got me hooked on this designer with his Mecha Milk, right? And the Vega Relic Studios and stuff. So I had not one, but two from him come, because not only did I get Galore with the Hedora spoon.
Oh man,
which
I
is
gotta
so
get
cool.
that.
It's beautiful. I mean, it gives off the same vibes and feelings Mecha Milk does. So cool. And I love the spoon with it. So that's like the best touch. But Jake, I was blown away because I won his Darujira lottery, and that came as well. Oh my gosh, dude. I think we have to do an original kaiju toy creation, unlicensed kaiju toy creation of the year for the Jeffries, because things like this need to be there. It is Daruma doll burning Godzilla. So you have the classic Daruma there, and then the burning not Godzilla. Just looks awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
that looks
face
so
is
cool.
like he's like, I don't know, it just like he looks like mischievous and just like kind of like, I don't know, he's just so cool. Beautifully done. There's a real good gloss on this vinyl.
Yeah, it's very shiny.
Yeah, and so he only did 12 of these, so it's like numbered down there, number 2 of 12. But it's beautiful. And the one thing that caught my eye on this, and no pun intended, you'll find out in a second. So look, there's burning everything, right? And you know, they're all kind of the same colorways and stuff. And I love sometimes when people do little twists or make little tweaks on it. So his eye socket, there's a little gap between the eye and the skin, and it's purple. And I think it just looks so super cool. This little touch like makes the eyes stand out and pop. And if you hold the vinyl in the light, there's actually a faint gold speckle, like a glitter in the black vinyl. You won't be able to pick it up here, but it's one of those, like, I love those little nice surprises that only the person that examines it really close will ever even notice.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely gorgeous. You can kind of see it there, but it's a beautiful piece. So Vega Relic Studio, go check it out if you don't know them. Buy Mecha Milk if you can. They're amazing.
They're amazing. I gotta get that Jello Hedora. That it was just like at the time when it was for sale, it wasn't. I had to pass on it, but I gotta pick one of those up. It's such a I love Mecha Milk's probably my
same maker.
thing.
We talk about toy lines of the year. We talk about toys of the year. We got to talk about Unraku, right? And so I had 2 Unraku things get delivered while I was gone. And number 1, after much waiting, we finally got this bad boy. Here he is, the Destroyer. I mean, what are you going to say? It's great. They nail it. This, I think, Destroy is perfect for them. He looks great. He looks amazing. Yeah. So like, I absolutely love it.
Not a lot of Destroyer Sofubi out there. That's awesome.
No. I'm literally I have him sitting right now as I wait to get some new display cabinets in. I have him next to the big Marusan Gojiban style Destroyer, you know, that they did. That's like this big. It's great. Like, long lost brothers, but also from Onraku. Now I'm gonna have to move over here because one of this family this time trying to run away from me here. We got, of course, Mama, Daddy, and Baby. Gappa. I got the Gappa family in. There's Baby. There's Baby with his cool sideburns. There's Mama. There's Mama. And then here's the patriarch. Here's Daddy. So look at these guys and gals and kids.
Those are beautiful.
I know, they're the best. I love them so much. Oh, they're the best.
Man. Looks like they look like some you need to put them on your shoulder like some parrots.
I think you look, yes. Oh yeah, I'll go through a pirate phase. These are amazing. And I love these. I was, I even in our top 10 list, I put them like, hey, if these had come out last year, like they would have been on my top 10 list. And they don't disappoint. They're amazing. If anybody has a chance to pick these up, I highly recommend it because you won't be disappointed.
Do those come as a set, or did you just have to buy 3 figures?
So yes and yes. So when in the lottery, you actually were able to pick, do you want to buy 1, 2, or 3? Gotcha. You can buy them separately. Most are sold in the secondhand market as a family. But I've seen them sold separately as well. They have their own headers and bags and stuff. Yeah. So the answer is, yeah, I mean, you can definitely get them separately, but most of them are going to be sold as a trio. So those are my non-Japan pickups. Cool. Do you want to switch over and then we can come back to do the Japanese stuff?
I don't have a ton of non-Japan pickups, but I'll do those and then we'll go back. I have to show this off because I got this in the mail from our good friend Attack Peter.
Hey, Peter!
He sent me this
Kaiju Go attendee, special guest. As of today announced, he'll be there.
That's very exciting. I'm so glad he's coming to that. But he sent me this in the mail. It came in before Japan. And it's really cool, and it is from an artist called Faux Video, like fauxvideo.com, FAUX video.com.
Fake video, yeah.
Yeah, and what it is it's art for the wall, but it's the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla VHS.
That's awesome.
So all it is, it's a canvas. It's just a canvas like print, but it's top, bottom. It is a recreation, which I have my VHS copy here. It's just like an exact.
That's amazing.
It even says the New World Video. It is a recreation of. He actually sent me 2 of these. He sent me this and he sent me Jaws. Oh, and cool. And I just think this is a cool thing to hang. I have a room that is like a VHS room, and it's all my VHS and old analog stuff, and I'm gonna hang this in there. I just thought it was really cool. So I appreciate this, Peter.
Good job, Peter.
Yeah, dude. Another thing that came in before we left was I got this Otaku America Monster Island playset.
So cool.
I had to pick this up, man, just because like it's anytime you can like change up your collection the way it looks, and like I think Sofubi is it always looks beautiful, but having something like this on top of a shelf where you can put your mini guys, it's just a cool way to kind of break up
100%.
The look of your collection. So I really love this. In fact, like I found the original dinosaur playset that this is based on, molded from. I don't know. But I was like, oh, I might buy that too because it's a different color. Yeah. And then you can have 2 of them and they different colors but this is just a cool idea. I just love this, and I just think it's cool to have something for your your little kaiju to hang out on.
So smart.
Yeah, that came in before.
I think it's breaking up the Sofubi is amazing, and also like I just have a hard time displaying some of my minis because they're either lost in a DTOF because
what do you do with them,
or like or they're on a shelf like an exposed shelf that like it just doesn't look great on because they're not big enough. And so like I think that it helps you on both of those to aesthetically give you the kind of your eye to have a break, but also just a way to display those little bastards.
And I mean, I usually don't even buy figures this small because of that reason. It's like, well, how do you display them? But I have a handful of like the yokai figures, and but the US toys fit on this pretty well too. So you could put your US toys on it, whatever. So yeah, that thing's amazing.
That is really cool.
I'm trying to see what else isn't Japan. I got one more thing that's not a Japan pickup. Now, I bought this. I bought this after we got back, and I bought it kind of because I was just feeling itchy. I had a little. I didn't spend as much as I thought I was going to spend, and that was kind of bumming me out. And there was. I saw, a couple years ago on our top 10 lists, I put that I wanted to start picking up like both the Bullmark like metal figures and the Billiken tin figures, and I've been like slowly amassing a collection of those. And while we were in Japan, I kept seeing like the Billiken Ultraman wind up, and they look the Ultraman looks so good. Yeah. And there were like multiples. I saw like Ultra 7, Ultraman, like a couple other.
Yeah, the Moonlight Mask.
Yeah, and like I didn't buy any of them. I passed on it. The prices weren't very different from like what they are on eBay. I was like looking and I was like, oh, I could buy this. But also there's a ton on eBay for the same. Yeah. It's not rare. So I ended up passing. But then when I got home, I was like, I was like, fuck, I kind of wish I just would have bought it anyway. I wouldn't have had to pay for shipping. I would have bought it in person. It would have been fun. But I was like, well, I'm going to fucking buy Billiken Godzilla. So I did pick up the Godzilla against Marth. And dude, I'll tell you, man, I showed this off on Toy Anxiety. This has all the instructions,
so minty.
Still, it's in this is in such good condition that it feels like a re-release, and they didn't re-release these, so
I don't know.
But here it is. This is beautiful. It's so beautiful. Cool. It's got the Mothra on the tail here, and it's the Mothra is attached. And I said this on Toy Anxiety, but there's a string. You pull the Mothra out. And then as the Mothra, kind of gets closer, that's what makes the Godzilla walk. And he walks and his hands go up in his mouth. And this looks like it's never been out of the box. Maybe it hadn't been until I bought it. But love this. Love the color, amazing. Everything. Yeah, this is beautiful. So this came in the mail yesterday. So very happy to have that. Yeah. Jay, everything else is from Japan. Everything else I got here is our Japan pickups. So if you want to go ahead and jump into it, we'll just go from there.
I'm trying to think of like the best way the order to go. And I'll try to go as close to chronological order as possible. The best, at least that I remember it. So it's funny. So we started off in Shibuya after so we met with you on that Saturday. We had our ramen. We met up in the bar. In the alleyway. And then the next day we didn't see you. Shelly and I did kind of like a quick like walking tour around just to kind of like see a lot of the things that we wanted to, but like didn't necessarily want to spend the whole day. So like we hung out in Tsukiji Fish Market and did the Sky Tree and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Had a great time. But after that, like when that was over, we ended the tour, the all day walking tour in Shibuya. So we hit up like the stores that we talked about, T-Base and Hands. And it's funny, like, it was cool to see those. None of them. The Marusan floor at the bottom is really cool at Han Shibuya. We knew kind of all the stuff that was there. Yeah. We already got pictures from one of our friends that was there literally the day before. So it was like there were no surprises, right? Sure. But I picked up the one thing here that is not kaiju or Sofubi at all. And it's funny because I picked up these really cool little mini wrestling guys of two of my favorites, Stan Hansen and Jushin Liger.
Oh, cool.
And for 48 hours, this was my only pickup in Japan. No kaiju stuff, nothing. I just thought it was kind of funny. It was like I came here and I like and I'm like I said, don't watch wrestling anymore or anything like that. But
Yeah.
like, I was like, that's all I got. And then, and it wasn't until we went to Sukagawa with you on that Monday that I actually started like buying some things, and it gradually kind of like got bigger and crazier. So in Sukagawa, a lot of like little fun, cool things that I thought were awesome. The first thing that we all got, well, I say we all got, me, you, and Jess, the 3 people that if any of us would be in the SSSP, we got our little SSP badges with the little antenna and everything. So I thought these were cool at one of the
Thank
Ultraman
you, Jay.
shops.
You bought me
one of the Ultraman shops there going into the museum. And then I bought like a couple, like I said, little small things. Like I got this cool pair of Ultra 7 chopsticks that have the anniversary date and everything on them. And this was from the official Shot 78 store, which was so cool. That's the one that had like the big Super Eye statue mannequin thing in the back. And it was so cool. And I also got these. These are so adorable. These transparent, instead of Canagon, it's a little baby Canagon, chopsticks. And now there's a cool little logo and stuff. It'll be hard to see here because they're translucent.
Yeah, it's clear.
But it's so cool. And you put the chopsticks together and it makes his face. Very cool. It's this guy. He looks like that. So very cool. And then, and I think they sell these at the Godzilla store too. But we were there, and you showed me these little tiny glass-looking figurines, and I got an Anguirus, and these are like half an inch tall, but they look really, really cool. And we got a Godzilla, of course. I had to get a Godzilla, and I got because from Ultraman I love Antlar, so I got an Antlar. Will not be the last time you see him, and then had to get my favorite cuttlefish, little Gezra there too.
Oh, I didn't see the Gezra. That's cool.
Yeah, so I was able to grab those, which was cool. Thank you for pointing those out at one of the stores. And then the other thing we grabbed which was kind of unplanned, is when we went to the shrine and for the charms, the good luck thing, whatever. I forgot what the Japanese name for them are. They had some of the little bags that were Ultraman or Ultra Kaiju themed. So I got this cool Balton. And then, of course, I had to get me an Ultra 7. So I thought that was really cool. So I picked those up as well. But, Sukagawa is more about experiencing the statues in the town and the museum and stuff. So I didn't go crazy that day. But that was kind of how I started off. So I started very slow. And then it was like, hey, Akihabara for Mandarake, Kaku, and Nakano Broadway. And that's when, business started picking up. So I'll start with what I got at Mandarake, Kaku, and Akihabara. Now, for those that haven't been, like, that is like, of all the Mandarakes, that is a Sofubi specialty shop. And it's the most soft vinyl toys you'll see in one place. It's relatively well curated, especially for Mandarake. It's pretty open and wide aisles, and everything's in glass. Yes, but like it is, you have to go there.
Yeah,
right? Like you got to go there.
It's the best one.
Yeah, and
one of the best ones.
Yeah, and there's no, it's not like digging. There's no like huge things of books and the labyrinths that you talk about that most of them are. Yeah. It literally is like just a pretty well curated, big, giant rooms of cases and cases and cases of designer vinyl. X Plus, Bandai, vintage Sofubi. That's the one I think we both talked about. They had this giant plush, kind of looked like it was plush Busca that was like 2 feet tall.
It was like a teddy. I was looking at the video and it says that it's like teddy bear Busca or something like that. It was
like $2,000.
It was very expensive. I wanted to buy it. It was very expensive. It was cool.
So a couple of things that I got there. Number one was, I'm gonna grab him over here. We were talking about US toys earlier. From the larger size, the deluxe size, I got this really cool US toys Naranga.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I was really excited to get him. This was a classic impulse purchase where I'm like, I'm going to take that and that. And then I see him. I'm like, "Ugh, he's already opening the cabinet. Like, I don't want to have to go back. Might as well just grab him as well.
Yeah,
So I thought this was really cool. What he was getting from the cabinet were these guys from Marmit. Let me see if I can grab these guys. Here we go. From the Parababy line. Hey, me and you, we love us some Ultra Q. So I was able to get this Goro and Namagon Parababy set.
Holy shit.
These are great. And in fact, I don't think I have a Goro other than the one that's like hanging off of the Toygraph Tower, Tokyo Tower.
Yeah.
So and I do have some Namagon. So love these guys.
Amazing.
And I was like, gotta get these. So, but once again, very like ultra heavy. And continuing the theme at the Mandarake, I was able to find, and I've been talking about getting an Antlar 450 from Marusan. I didn't know which one, but then I'm walking there, and then boom, it's a giant gold Antlar. So I was like, I'm getting this dude. So I was very excited to pick him up, and continuing my like just very ultra centric pickup day. So absolutely love their 450. And I love this colorway because I don't have a lot of like just plain gold stuff.
Yeah.
And why can't Antlar be plain in gold? But then I was like, you know what, dude? Like, I can't just only get ultra stuff. So I broadened my search to more Tokusatsu, not just ultra. And I was able to snag from what's this one? Was it a Ichibano? What is the company that makes this one? Ichiban Banjo, something like that. Anyway, the Zone Fighter on the little motor scooter.
Very cool.
Yeah, they have like the Mazinger Z and some other ones, but love these guys. And I was able to grab the Zone Fighter. I have no Zone Fighter toys. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to get one. Why not in Japan for a really good deal? So was able to grab that at the Mandarake. So that was my haul at Mandarake, and we're like, this is great. This is wonderful. And then we finished that day at Nakano Broadway. And
oh, Jesus. You went to Coco and Nakano Broadway in one day.
Yeah. My one was like
insane.
That's one insane. Was like we actually got to Akihabara and we hung out like right by there and I had lunch at literally like at a brewery type thing that was like next door.
Mm-hmm.
It was super fun. Like we walked in there because like it connected to the store. Like we didn't even have to like leave. We just walked in and spent some time there, and then we just hopped over to Nakano and it's like, hey, let's do it. And so it was super fun. Nakano, like you mentioned, it's crazy because there's so many Mandarake stores in there. There's like 20 of them. I don't even know how many. And some of them are focused on one thing or the other. But there's also some other really cool stores in there that speak our language. Like there's the Hakuba Gallery, the Gallery of Hakuba. There's the Graveyard Gallery, which we talk about a ton on here, with the toy news and everything. So we hit up that. There was a One Up store, which didn't have any of their Godzilla stuff. That's usually a one-day license, so they can't sell it. So, but they did have some other ultra stuff and some other things. One Up's great. I mean, it's 2 feet away from, probably 8 Mandarake. So why not just pop in there? I wish I would have had another like 5 or 6 hours to like go through and dig through some of those stores, because like literally I'd walk through a store and it would have like, some stuff that I didn't really like, wasn't piquing my interest, but then I would like peek in and there'd be in the bottom corner, there's a display of like toy graphs. I'm like, what? And I'm sure there were more stores, more Mandarake stuff like that.
It's also weird because like there was one of the Mandarake stores in there is only Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider.
And it's like, and I was like trying to not spend too much time in there just because I don't have a huge knowledge of Kamen Rider, but also I really love the way all those toys look. So I'm like, should I buy something even though I have no idea? And then there's like a Power Rangers store in there, and it's
one
crazy.
Of like weird, creepy dolls with no clothes on. Like
we did go in there.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. I was like, they had to film a horror movie here. But that Nakano Broadway is, everybody talks about go to it. And my recommendation is do it and make sure you have enough time to go through the stuff.
It needs to be like a whole day. You need to get, you should get there when they open. It was weird. Something that we found out about Japan is that a lot of stuff doesn't open early. It's like
No.
so we got to Nakano Broadway, and like the complex was open, but like the Mandarake's didn't open till like
Noon, right?
Yeah, noon. So we were like, oh, I guess let's go do something else and come back. But you should definitely get there when they open and just plan to be there for the day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was you in the best way. You'll get lost in there, both like literally and metaphorically. It's so great. But in Hakuba, I was super excited because I buy so much from the Graveyard Gallery, and there's one thing that they had one left. It had on their sign one left, and we've talked about this guy on one of our toy pickup shows, or news segments from Electric Toys. This is my first electric toy. Not actually electric, just the name of the company. I got this awesome yellow and green lemon lime dinosaur tank. It was so cool. But this was one. Hakuba Gallery is great. You know, it's small. There's so much fun stuff in there. Like I literally went into in the Sofubi, kind of their exclusive Sofubi stuff from Ultra and Godzilla is like walk in, like it's just there from staring. And so I was like, I just saw this guy just peeking out. I'm like, I need to grab him. I had to throw away, push away some CCP stuff and everything, and I just grabbed it. And I was like, here's my boy. So this was one that I was like, no brainer. Like, just threw it on the counter and bought it. So this was my pickup from Hakuba. I was very excited to get that. And then things started picking up, and I'm like, oh, Jay's going to be here for a bit. So I did go to what might have been my favorite, in my top 2 or 3 favorite stores and the whole trip was this old vintage toy dealer that everybody goes to. I think it's Gauchi Toys or GAOCCI Toys. And you gave me the heads up on the store as far as like, it's very small. Like you and I really probably don't actually fit in it.
No, and I didn't fit in it at all. Me and Jess were the only ones in there. And I told you this already, but I had to leave the store because I felt like, like a giant in there, like bumping into things. And I was like, I'm going to break something. I have to get out of here.
And the owner's like 5'2" and 100 pounds. Like, so he gets around easy. He's climbing. Like when I was walking there, he was literally standing on the counter, reaching up to the ceiling, getting something for somebody. And he's crazy. He's a wild man. This guy is a wild man. But literally think of a room and there's a center aisle, a display. And so you have 2 little tiny aisles.
Really small. Yeah.
And I physically couldn't fit. I had to go, shuffle in sideways, but I was still touching everything. So anyway, but I was able to see him do some deals with people. And then I chatted with him because I was the only one in there. And I was interested in asking him about some of the vinyl stuff. And he was a wild man. It was so fun. But I think he also was nice because he knew he had me hook, line, and sinker. Like I was a sucker. I was like, this guy's a total mark. Yeah. So I was able to get from Masadaya, and I love Masadaya. I love little tin wind-up toys and things like that. But this awesome wind-up tiger mask from the 1970s. Still works. Everything's good to go. But I have the Masadaya Karas or Raw from Spectreman and the Masadaya Spectreman in the spaceship. So I'm adding in this cool tiger mask, vintage tiger mask. I just love the way it looked. There's so much vintage tiger mask across Japan. This was one that I was like, I got to have it. And it was, I would say he's knowledgeable enough, especially in the vintage, that a lot of the stuff is priced probably where you would think it would be. But this one I think was clearly undervalued what I got it for. So I was like, that just kind of was sealed the deal.
That store specifically, I wish I could have spent more time in, but it was it was too small. It was too small. And, if I had more time, I would have made it work, but it was just like, we walked in there and I looked around and
it's floor to ceiling.
Yeah. It's so much stuff, but that store is the kind of store that even though it's this big, probably can spend 3 hours in there looking through everything. So,
oh my gosh.
Would love to get back in there.
So much vintage stuff. Speaking of, I think my biggest, like my probably main purchase, not my final purchase by any means, but my big purchase for the trip was in Gauchi. And I was talking about vintage. I was going back and forth on some things on which one to get, and I settled on this from 1966 vintage first wave Marusan. I got this 1966 vintage Gengo, and it was funny. I told him like that's the one I wanted, and he went and he was explaining like this was more silver when it was in 1966. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, it's cool. I like it. And he was like, and he just wanted. He goes, no, smell, and he was smelling it. He's like, oh, it smells 1966 vinyl, and and he was, he was showing like not second run, first run, all this type of stuff, and it was great, and I love Gengo. And I love this sculpt. I think this is great. I think it's so like this looks like a late 60s Sofubi. Because it is. And I love it so much. And I love the orange. It makes me think of, the Bullmark King Ghidorah as well. Like I just love the orange vintage style. And I mean, look at that face.
That is face cool. Yeah. That's
only a mother could love. But then I was like, then we were walking out. I was like, okay, good. I'm like, Shell, like I feel like today's been great. Like I love my stuff I got before, but like I feel like now I'm actually out on vacation. I'm actually buying stuff. And then we're walking out, and then I'm like, literally, we're walking out the door, and I'm like, I need one more thing. I need to go grab one more thing because we passed by this Ultraman store. The store with a lot of Ultraman. Yeah. And I love from Decon. Remember, I got turned on to that mascot, and I got like the Mirror Man and the Ultra 7 and stuff. And I know I can get this. This isn't like a rare thing by any means, but like for this price. So I grabbed the Father of Ultra. He was there. I was just sitting there. I was like, literally, as I'm walking out,
I saw that
out the door. Yeah. I'm like, I gotta grab him. So he was a nice like a parting. I was like, I don't really want to leave. So maybe if I keep buying stuff, I'll just never leave this place. I left, but I was able to get this guy on that. Awesome, so those were my pickups in. Oh no, I have one more pickup for Tokyo, and then the rest of mine are Osaka. I can switch it over to you. But my last pickup in Tokyo was also it was a special moment. Like the pickup is secondary. So Shelly and I, one of the days, I forgot what we did that morning. But I was like, we have some time. I want to go to Koenji, a little neighborhood called Koenji. That is where Godzilla Ya is, the old store that Masahiro Kizawa is the owner, and he's a famous old toy collector, and he's been on like their Antiques Roadshow stuff, and he just has this. It's a 2-story thing. It has like a bar and a toy store, right? Yeah. And you've seen the pictures, especially even ones from a couple of years ago, and it's full of like vintage Sofubi. And there's not much of that left anymore. A lot of like tin toys, paper toys, a lot of like postcards and production stills and things from Tokusatsu films and stuff. So it's still very cool and vintage, but and I asked him, I was like, any more Sofubi? And he's like, no, Sofubi boom. Like he was like, I sold all of it, and we were chatting and stuff. But he had one case that I didn't see because it was in Japanese. It said not for sale, but I didn't see that. And I was like, can I have this? Because it was this signed M1 Fuji from Hiroki Sakurai. And I was like, on that, he goes, oh no, not for sale. And then he said something, and he was like, it's signed by her. And he also had another autograph by the great Ultra director, Akio Jisoji, who does all the best episodes. And I was like, oh yeah, director. And he's like, oh my God, you know who that is? And he's like, oh, no. He goes, I got a gift for you. And he gives me this. He has this bookshelf. He just like knows exactly where it is, right? Like magic. Pulls this out. This was a really cool program from this Akio Jisoji exhibit that they had that talks about like his life and everything and it was to celebrate the 10th year of his passing in 2016. And it has all the stuff that was like in this exhibit from Jisoji, and there's like Jisoji sitting on the thing. And he gave this to me, and I was like, and this was before I bought anything. And I was like, oh my God, I think he was just happy some like, white dude knows who Jisoji is. But like I said, he had a lot of cool vintage stuff, and he had this, we talked about Karuta cards before, that cool game, and he had this like 10 sets of Ultraman and I found this amazing unopened Spectreman Cruda card set with this amazing artwork from the 1970s. And I mean, let's look at even on the side, the artwork there, the profiles of Spectreman and Karas. And opened it up. I mean, these are still, look at some of these. These are still wrapped in their original plastic. But like, look at this. Like, here's some of the art on the cards.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, this one right here, like the Dr. Gory.
So Jay, there was a lot of, I saw a lot of Spectreman stuff.
Oh, Spectreman's,
he's still
Spectreman
is still hot. Is one of those things I didn't know what it was until you started talking about it, you know. So I'm very new to Spectreman.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was dude, I mean, I just started watching it not too long ago, and I'd been aware of it, you know, as like just as much as I was aware of like things like Green Man and Godman and Eisenberg and all these things. But I was like, and I started watching it, and it just was like an instant love at first sight, and it's become like my best buddy. And so that capped off our Tokyo portion. I do have some Osaka pickups, and I have some of the stuff I got that last day in Tokyo and Osaka and Awaji Island and stuff. But I can take a break now because that was my biggest.
Sure, yeah.
And you can go.
You bought way more stuff than I did. I will say, Craig asked me this question, and it's very much true. He asked me if my buying was maybe different and kind of affected from knowing you. And I was like, yeah, 100%. I was like, I did find myself not buying a lot of stuff that even though I maybe would have wanted it, it was like, well, I can get that through Jay's store. You know what I mean? It was like a different experience than it would have been
5 years ago. Yeah.
5 years ago. Like 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God. You know, I would not have known what to do. I would have spent all my money.
Yeah.
But now I feel a little calmer in places like that because I'm like, well, I know Jay Key. And Jay Key, like, Jay Key is either owns a lot of this or has sold a lot of this. I'm more aware of prices now than I would have been. Like back then, I would have been just like, oh, buy something. Just buy it. I don't care what the price is. But
and it's still okay to do that.
Yeah, it's still okay to, and I did that a little bit, but it's like, but I'm buying less because I'm like, oh, well, I know these prices aren't, you know, super crazy cheap prices. I know if I wanted anything in this shelf, I could say, Jay, grab this for me. And he would be able to get it from, you know what I mean? So it was like,
it's not even that, Jake. It's like Mandarake, like a lot of the stuff they have in their stores, like it is on their site for the exact same price.
That's where you get it.
It does. I don't want to sound like bratty. It doesn't take away how amazing it is to be in those stores.
No,
at all.
The coolest thing ever.
It is. But it like you have like a little bit of a safety net that like if you walk out of that store, unless somebody's right behind you that's going to buy it, like you could also order it and have it shipped to your house, right? Like it's not as much like an antique mall where you literally are like digging through. Now, some of the stores are, you know, like Gouchy ain't selling anything online. You know, Godzilla y'all ain't selling anything online. But that's the safety net. I think it makes it a little bit different.
And I do feel like sort of because of that, I didn't buy anything like super crazy or like, you know what I mean? Like I did buy, it's all Japanese stuff clearly, but I don't think I bought anything that like we couldn't get if we wanted, you know what I mean? That we couldn't order. But what I did unexpectedly buy, and I'll show these off first because whatever. I bought a couple Bandai things, and
look at you.
I was not expecting to buy Bandai. It, you know, like Bandai is like you can go to Target and buy Bandai, so it wasn't something that I was like expecting to be buying. But the only reason I did pick up a couple Bandai things are because they're things I've never seen in person before, and they're just like every now and then Bandai does something where you're like, oh, I want to pick that up. I did get this really dumb custom repaint though of Tyrant just because I love him. I love him. He's great. And even though this paint job's not amazing, I just was like, oh, I want this. I was like, I'm going to buy this. Is probably like, it was so cheap, but I was like, I'm going to pick. Yeah. I was like, they actually had a couple different colorways of this that were all done. You could tell they were done by the same person, but they were like, I was like, oh, this is somebody who's learning how to paint, but I just loved it. I loved it.
It was like one of those like prototype, like you'll see like the prototype, like Boba Fett's and stuff.
Exactly.
Like the different color appendages.
That's why I picked it up. I was like, let me just grab this.
And also, hey, one of the cool things is when you're over there, like especially for people that do like Bandai and stuff, and why it's more appealing is like they're literally like $2.
Yeah, they're so cheap. They're so cheap. And I did from one of the Godzilla stores. I did have to pick this up. This is a recent Bandai thing that I wanted to order when it came out, and I just didn't. But you know, I had to get I had to get the little dancing gods. I mean, come on. They just had this on the shelf, and I'm like, oh, to me, this kind of Bandai stands above most Bandai. I mean, look at it. There's not a lot of dancing Godzilla out there, so grab that from one of the Godzilla stores. And
that's
then
a cool piece.
The other Bandai piece I picked up from the Ultraman store, and I was a little curious about it, so I was like looking it up because there was a sign that when I translated the sign still didn't make complete sense to me, but it was said that it was a limited item, that it was an exclusive item, and that they were only allowing people to buy 5 of them. And I'm like, are people coming here and just buying a bunch of these and selling them? So I was like, oh, this is an exclusive Bandai Ultraman item. These aren't sold everywhere. So let me grab it, and it's just amazing. But it's Ultraman doing his little ball attack.
Oh, that's so cool.
I was just like, dude, it's just such a fun weird toy that's gonna look good on a
Christmas
shelf.
tree.
Yeah. That's it. It's on a good. God, I should have bought 5 of them.
I know. Decorated a tree.
So yeah, just pick that up.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But see, those things aren't like. That's not like. I don't know. I think. Not that you need one, but I think you get a pass on those two. Those are kind of like those are really cool.
It's like they're cheap things, and but to me those are all cool. I mean, the Ultraman especially, because it's not widely. I think you could. I mean, I'm not saying you can't get that, but it's a little more exclusive.
And you were there at the store to get it, which is also like ties it to that moment.
I bought a bunch of other stuff from that store. I'll show off later because it's like not toys, but so the Godzilla store that has the big giant like gotcha machine, I got the Mecha Godzilla. So
very cool.
Off. And this is a toy that I would never just buy this if it was on the shelf. It's because it was the machine and it's the big gotcha. So I was like, I gotta do this, and I got Mecha Godzilla. So,
I love that one. Yeah, that's cool.
So as far as Mandarakes go, I got a couple things that I got at Mandarake, and the first thing I'll show off, I got this at the is it Coco? Is it Cuckoo? I don't know.
Cuckoo, Cuckoo.
Yeah. I got a US Toys Halloween version of Busca. This is amazing. The bag's got like a hollow, like it says.
Does it say Happy Halloween or something on it?
It does. I got it right. Oh, so I got all the packaging, but the little bag he's in has a little Happy Halloween sticker, and he looks like a fucking jack-o'-lantern. You know, he's like a little pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
The purple, the little green belly button, the green on the. I love this, and I didn't have any of the bigger size US toys. All I have are the little ones. So I saw this, and this is just beautiful. So there
he can hang out with Mandaranga. He can come hang out with Mandaranga.
Yeah, let him hang out. Dude, there is lots of Busca in Japan. Busca, I was surprised how much Busca. And you know, like, we love Busca. We talk about Busca. Yeah. Like, I've bought other Busca stuff. But it's like, I did not know how popular Busca is over there. There are
Busca had his own, like, he had his own display cabinets at like every Mandarake.
Yeah, and
it's like a category,
dude. It's like 100%
vintage Sofubi, Kaiju Sofubi, Chigoken, Buska.
Yeah, and this, so at the Mandarake I bought this one at, it was a whole shelf of Buska, and they had this like vintage. If it wasn't the kind of thing where I had to travel, I would have loved to have bought the poster that I know you saw. It's like the little girl holding the two Buska toys. I wanted that poster so bad, but yeah, pick that up. And while we're at it, I will show. I'll show the other Buska thing that I bought, and I bought this. I bought this at a different Mandarake, but I don't even remember. I don't know if this was in. I don't know. This is just one of the other Mandarakes, but I bought this desk calendar. I just like, this is the kind of stuff I love, like random weird kaiju, like adjacent whatever. It's a desk calendar, and he's still in the box. I don't even know if this art. I don't even know if it works, but I was like, it's gonna probably stay in the box.
That's really cool though.
But yeah, look at that, a little Buska desk calendar. Had to pick it up, dude.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's funny. I as I was trying to get the a toy to put in the bottom corners of the background here, I tried to get the Halloween one, but I couldn't find one out of the packaging.
Couldn't find the pictures?
Yeah, just all of them had like the packaging that said the Happy Halloween. That's how I knew it said Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
But then the desk calendar I was able to get. I was like, because those
there
are like,
go.
I had to get, I mean, Buska and Spectreman are alive and well in Japan, man.
Yeah, they're everywhere, dude.
Who would have known?
I don't know if this is one you've seen. I didn't show this. Did I show this off? I don't think I showed this off on Toy Anxiety. Maybe I did. I don't know. I found this in the Coco Mandarake, and it's right up my alley, dude. I don't know exactly what this is, but I found this box of like cute Godzillas, and they're little suction cups at the bottom. There's a King Ghidorah, Gigan, Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan, and I don't know if you can see. Let's see. They're like, there's like a little you can see at the bottom of the Gigan there. It's like a suction cup. But
now
these are
the figures, like, are they squishy figures, or are they?
I haven't even opened it yet, so I don't know. And I'm gonna open it. It's not like a sealed thing. It's just got some old tape on it. But I have not. Let's see.
Those are cool.
We'll find out together.
Let's find out.
I'm gonna open it right now. Oh, they're hard plastic.
Oh wow. That's really cool, dude.
A little Mothra.
I mean, that'll look so good in your Lit Goji, Godzilla,
exactly
shelf. Or
I was hoping to find more Lit Goji. You know, I did not see any. And you know what? I know they have some because I follow I don't know his real name, but Tokyo Toy Bonsai.
Yeah.
On what's his name?
Jeremy.
Yeah. I follow him and I see him finding some of it sometimes. And he's about got me to join. He has a Patreon. And if you join his Patreon, he does little sales on the Patreon page where he had it in his stories where he shared somebody who bought some stuff through his Patreon. And it's just stuff because he lives there, he just goes out and finds. But it was 3 of the Godzilla Land like erasers that somebody bought, and I was like, "Fuck! I gotta get on his Patreon so I can pick up that stuff." But yeah, I didn't see any Lit Goji or Godzilla Land stuff. I was really hoping to find more stuff like that, like this. But
a lot more Ultraman kids.
Yeah, I almost bought an Ultraman Kids desk lamp. Let's see. So I got this at Nakano Broadway. I had to pick up my boy. I had to pick up a Dodongo here. Yeah, dude, this nice big translucent red glitter. This was like first day of the trip. I was like, buying it. I was like, I'm buying that. Love Dodongo. I feel like this is my first. I have a couple other Dodongo pieces. You got me the amazing pair of babies. This is gonna look so good on I got a Dodongo shelf going, is what I'm trying to say.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
What I like about this one that you got, and it's one of my favorite pieces. I can't tell you how many times I almost kept it when I had it through the store.
Yeah.
I just feel like of all like the glitter, and this sounds so silly, but like the glitter on this one is so tastefully done. And like the gold spray is like perfectly, it is like, if you say I have red transparent glitter vinyl with gold spray, like you're thinking some garish and gaudy thing, and it is not. Like,
no, it looks good.
It is a beautiful piece. It is beautiful.
It really is. I love it, and I just like how big it is. It's nice
it's 450.
Yeah, it's a 450. So yeah, love this. This was like this is basically the first toy I bought in Japan.
That's a great way to start, man. Much better than me who like had a little tiny, had chopsticks, man. And then you come out with a 450 Dodongo.
Hey, so here's something I bought, and it was in one of those. It was in the Dibia. What is it? Dibia?
Yeah, Daiba.
Daiba. So there was a store behind the Godzilla store that was like all kinds of toys, a little bit of Sofubi,
that was the Loschenbong. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the big Mothra they had? The big remote control Mothra?
I did. Yes.
The huge fucking I just thought that was awesome. But I bought this in that store. Yeah. I could not pass this up. You got Father of Ultra.
Oh yeah.
I got Mother of Ultra.
Oh, good for you.
I picked this up, this little statue of what I like to call Ultra Mom. I know that's
we'll get them together.
But I just they had this in there and it was so cheap. I was like, oh, I'm buying that. I had to leave the box in Japan. It had a box, but the box was so big for house. This is not a huge figure, but
and we got to hang out with her in Sukagawa as well. So like, it's perfect. Yeah.
You know what? So I just thought that was cool. And like, you know, I like the pose. She's chilling. I was like, this is going to look good on my bookshelf. This little Mother of Ultra. So pick that up there.
That's a cool pickup. That store is cool. That I mean, I know there was mostly like anime statues and stuff. It was
mostly anime, yeah.
But they had a couple that secondhand Tokusatsu shelves that had like the Mothra and stuff on there were cool.
Yeah,
they had a lot of like CCP Sofubi.
A lot of CCP hanging on off all the. There was a lot of CCP in that building.
100%. And then they had that was the one that had like the vintage display cabinet kind of on the perimeter facing the outside. And it was crazy. I mean, it was like all vintage stuff, but like some of it was literally like missing arms and stuff. It was not.
Well, it's like a lot of used stuff. Like, I'll be honest. I think I paid $10 for that, and the box was open. It's just said that it had an open box. You know, it was all still in the box, but the box had been open, and it was like I think 10 or 12 American dollars. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna not buy that. You know,
I mean, it's right behind the Godzilla store. Like it
was right there. Yeah. So you showed off the little glass Godzilla. Yeah. I bought a couple of those as well.
Which ones did you get?
I got Godzilla.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to see, but that's Godzilla.
Trust us, it's Godzilla, and I promise.
It is. I got Minya.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I got a little Minya. Yep.
That's cool.
And then I got a Gigan. I got a little,
very cool.
Little Gigan. And these are really weird and cool. And I love that the display shows them. Like, I guess people put them like in pot or like plants. Like they put them in there. You know, you just take them out and put them in with your potted plants and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool little. Take them out and just find a little spot for them. So
I know.
I just got those 3.
You can put them in like one of your like little moss garden areas. You can put them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I might do something cool. Jay, that's like all the toys that I bought. I got some other stuff, but it's other stuff. So if you want to jump back to you and see what else you got.
Well, one thing I forgot, I forgot
I feel like I didn't buy enough. Can I just say that? I feel like that's not a lot of toys. I feel like for going to Japan, for spending 2 weeks in Japan and bringing, money, I feel like I should have bought more. I'm a little disappointed in myself is what I'm trying to say.
Wait, one thing I forgot to mention that we both bought. I got mine at the Godzilla store in Daiba. I don't know which Godzilla store you got it at, but like this was also one of the things that having you as my scout, you're like, hey, I bought this, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to find one and buy it too. I got the Gojibon book.
Yeah,
The Goji
very
Bar book here
cool.
is so cool. But I was able to grab that. And also, speaking of Daiba, so there's the Loschenbong. There's like a little like Toys R Us shelf section thing. There's the Godzilla store. There's a lot of stuff in this little area. There's also, I don't know, is it a floor down or is it the same floor? There's the there's also Village and Vanguard, or Vanguard and Village that had some Godzilla stuff. A lot of CCP. But then there's like the store that had all the Punk Drunker stuff and some designer vinyl called Karate Chop.
It's right across from the Godzilla store.
And I was
It's
able to
on
get
the
this
same
awesome
floor.
shirt, which is like it's a Pachi Spectre Ultraman fighting.
I almost bought that. Jay,
It's so cool.
I was like looking at it and I almost bought it. And I was like, oh, I bet Jay bought this shirt. And then you mentioned it. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jess bought one of the Punk Drunkers, like, yokai jackets in there.
That's awesome.
And
They had
it's
some
like,
cool stuff there.
it's way too big for her, but she really wanted it. And she was like trying them on and they were out of the smaller sizes, but she was just like, fuck it. She bought it. You bought that shirt. Right next door to the Punk Drunker store was some other store that had like shirts and books and all kinds of stuff. And they had a big display of the Santa Cruz.
Yeah, that was that Village Vanguard or Vanguard Village, one of those. Like, yeah. They had some cool stuff.
I was actually really surprised to see all the skateboard stuff because that shit all sold out really quick. Yeah. And I was gonna buy some of it online, and it just all sold out. And they had like all the shirts and
that
the
display
hoodies.
was gorgeous.
Yeah, they had like all the shirts, the hoodies, the fucking skateboards.
Yeah.
Which I would have bought if it wasn't a case of how do I get a skateboard home. But the boards are really cool, and those sold out so quick. Yeah. But they had all the shirts, and it's really hard to pick because I think all the designs are cool.
Yeah.
I almost got I clearly picked up this one, the like classic hand with the Godzilla, and then they also had the Mecha Godzilla hand, but I thought the color of the shirt was weird, and they didn't have all the sizes that I would have needed, so I just got this one. But I was like, I have to get that.
Yeah, that was a cool store.
Pick that up. Yeah, that was cool. Jess bought some books in there. AJ Quick bought some books in that store. Bought a Japanese Ghostbusters book in there.
Nice,
it was really cool stuff.
And they had some Ghostbusters apparel at the karate shop.
They
store,
did, really
which
good
is
stuff.
Crazy. No, that was cool. I enjoyed that area in Daiba. A lot of people think like the Dex building is there, and then the Fuji TV building is there. But then they built this diverse city, and that's where like the big robot Gundam thing is, life size one is.
Did you see the Statue of Liberty? Did you walk over and see that?
I did not know.
It is so weird.
What is it?
They have a giant replica of the Statue of Liberty, and you have to walk away from that like mall.
Yeah,
but it's just like a couple yards. Like if you just walk up the walkway, there's like a bridge, and there's an area where you can see like the skyline, and there's a Statue of Liberty there, and it's like all these people are taking pictures of it. I'm like, why do they have this? It's
a weird
so
vibe.
Weird.
I really like that Daiba area. Like it's one of those things. Like it's a modern, kind of a very modern mall, but like if you're into a lot of like properties like otaku,
like South Park. Hey, if you love South Park, there's a South Park store in there.
I mean, they had they had it was all like very themed, like Hello Kitty store, South Park store. That's there. Most people go there for that. The upstairs is that giant Gundam store, which is like, I know nothing about Gundam.
Didn't even go in there, but they also have a really nice Studio Ghibli store in there that I spent some time looking around. And it was cool stuff.
It's cool, and like it was a fun food court and everything. So and they have the new Godzilla store with the big gashapon. So but I was like, I did that in Toho Studios by myself because Shelly was having a spa day at the new Otani, and so she was doing that, and I was like, I'm gonna go do some things that like Toho I know is like it will mean nothing for because it's a long way to get there. It'll be like just to pay our respect to the most important studio in our lives. But then Daiba, I was like, I don't know what to expect. Like, I'm just going to whatever. And I had like a blast just kind of hanging out, grabbing some snacks and going in these weird stores. And it was super fun. I highly recommend it. It's not like if you're trying to like, oh my gosh, I gotta buy some amazing Sofubi or anything like that, like no. But like if you're like want to hang out at a fun, cool, quirky mall with really wacky stuff, or you really like Gundam, definitely go there. And it was like the most beautiful day in the world. When I went there, it was just like everything was like perfect. So it was cool. So I know this might be a little controversial, but I think I might have had better toy hunting in Osaka than I did Tokyo.
Wow.
I fell in love with Osaka. So where our hotel was, we were literally like a 4-minute walk from Nitonbashi Denden town, which is kind of like their otaku headquarters, their Akihabara, their whatever. And it's dozens and dozens and dozens of stores all on this like main drag. The Mandarake that we went to, Grand Chaos, is there. But as you go down the street, you run into Volk's Hobby Shop, which Volk's is that's who does Hobby Round, the Hobby Round shows. There's the Big Jungle Hobby, which is the flagship for CCP Japan, and it's probably the most kaiju toys and tokusatsu toys, including Mandarake Kaku, of any of the stores that I saw. It's not all Sofubi. It's a lot of like, I mean, they have a whole like giant room of X pluses, boxes on boxes. They have vintage. It's crazy. And it's their CCP headquarters. So you literally have a wall, like top to bottom, a wall of the little bags of CCP, like just everything. The new Mothra ones.
Wow, I didn't go here. I didn't even. I don't even know if I knew about this place.
It's about 3 blocks from Mandarake. The big Tamashi Nations there. You have Seiya Toys, which is a kind of a local cool vintage shop. You have Hero Gang, which is Hero Gang is crazy. So you go in there and it's a big store, 2 stores. You go in the first one, it's like modern stuff, anime statues, blah 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 blah. And you go upstairs, and it's a lot more of the same. Some vintage Bandai, and then there's this back corner. It's walls of designer vinyl, and then it's this giant case, a wall of vintage Sofubi. Like, you're not allowed to take pictures of it. Hundreds upon hundreds of toys.
Jay, take me there. Let's go.
I know,
back.
like it was so cool. And once again,
I'm so annoyed.
All the stuff in Nitonbashi are within blocks of each other. Like this is like, Hero Gang is next door to Volk's Hobby Shop and across the street from Mandarake and 1 block over from Hobby Jungle.
Dude, what's crazy is like, it's so crazy how much shit there is in Japan. And it's like, you don't, like, we keep talking about like, oh, I was in this place, didn't even know that was right across the street. Or
100%.
There's just so much to
so
see.
much. But I'd go in that store and I found, I got one now, but I found a different color variant of my Unbox Industries Inframan. And I was like, oh, I'm buying this. Like, this is the top 10, even though I already have one. I go up there and I go, how much? And I remember, it's just a different color variant. I bought mine. It's not a vintage toy, it's 10 years old. I bought mine and I got mine on a really good deal for like less than $300, right?
Yeah.
But for me, like, it was an important toy. I'm talking about it for years. Dude wanted $1,900 for it. I'm like, I'm good.
Whoa.
I'm good. So they were overpriced, but there was some stuff in there that I didn't even see in like Nakano Broadway and maybe in Gauchi and toys, but like it was insane, dude. But it was cool. Hobby Jungle was great. But then where I bought, I did get one thing in Grand Chaos. And this is again a Jacob Walsh scouting mission. You sent me pictures.
I'm trying to remember which one even this was. Like, there's many Mandarakes that I can't.
The multi-story one in Osaka. The one that you went, like, it was like 6 stories.
Okay.
And I think Craig did a video of you guys were in that one.
Yes.
And
like the one where Sofubi's basically only on the bottom floor.
Bottom floor. Yep.
Books and then weird shit.
And cosplays at the very top, like weird cosplay stuff.
Hentai at the very top. Let's be honest.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes. The last floor I was allowed to go on. But this is when you sent me pictures of the display cabinets and stuff on the Sofubi level.
This is the one where I bought the Busca alarm or calendar.
Calendar.
Yeah.
Cool. But this is one I didn't know this toy. This is one that like I just, when it was a Hakuba exclusive, like didn't think about it because I don't know this brand, didn't know this thing, but you sent me a picture, and the header card, you might remember this one, really stuck out.
I'm glad you bought that, Jay,
Yeah.
because I had no idea what it was. That's why I sent you the picture, because I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh my God, I can't believe you bought that.
Yeah. Oh, the header card sold me, and I was like, okay. And then the toy is also very cool. I haven't even opened it yet. So it was a Graveyard Gallery exclusive, and it was a garage kit model kit company called Tentsuku Kuge. And it's one of their model kits, but they did it in like the soft vinyl form, and it's this gunmetal variant. So I still in the bag. I gotta take him out, but I gotta put his tail on. But it's this really cool Megaro Goji Godzilla 73, and this like beautiful like gunmetal with a little copper spray, these great red eyes, and this amazing header card art, which is just like sold me on it. And I was able to pick this up in the Mandarake. This was my one pickup.
That's so cool. That thing caught my eye because all the other Godzilla stuff that was in that case with it were like pretty common things, things that you see a lot. And then that I had never seen it before.
Right.
I had no idea if it was like from a company or if it was like a one-off. I had no idea, and there was no info. I think you couldn't see the price tag on it either. So, which is why I didn't even try to buy it, because I was like, well, I'm not going to ask somebody to come tell me what the price is just for me to be like, nah. So I just left it there, but I specifically took pictures of it. I was like, got to figure out. This is a cool toy. Got to figure out what it is.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you picked that up. Hey, you know what else I almost bought in there but did not? I did send you a picture. I almost bought a pair of Ultraman flip-flops in there.
Oh, I saw those. No, yeah. That store was cool. The Grand Chaos was a very good Mandarake.
There was good stuff in there.
That was fun. And that was one that I wish I'd had more time in the book section, because they had a good like a big giant shelf of Godzilla and Tokusatsu. Yeah, I bought some books,
and I bought stuff on 3 different floors in there, and I didn't quite know what to do because I was like, do you buy it on each floor, or do I hold it and take it to the next floor? But then I was like, well, there's cash registers on each floor, so I think I'm supposed to buy it at each floor. So I went to the floor, but then they asked me, they were like, still shopping? And I'm like, yes. So then they handed me a card with a number on it. I don't know if you went through this.
No, because that's the only thing I bought there.
They handed me a card with a number, and I'm like, okay. And then they put it on the shelf, and I'm like, cool. So then every floor I went to, there were 3 floors where I bought stuff. I went to the next floor, and I was like, ooh, I want stuff here. And then I wrote still shopping on my phone. Yeah. And I showed it to them, and then they handed me another card. So I'm walking around with 2 cards, and then I'm on the first floor buying the toy. Yeah. And I handed them the cards, and then they like send somebody to go up to get your shit. That store had a shelf with the shelf that had the Busca on it. Mm-hmm. They had these. I would have bought these if it was feasible to get them home, but they were banks, and they looked like Ultraman kids style. Yes. They had Ultraman, Busca, Canagon, Balton, but they were like this fucking big.
They're huge.
And they had Buscas in multiple colors. There was a blue one that I know Abby was like, oh, I kind of want that. But they're huge. They were like 2 or 3 feet tall. And I'm like, I would buy the prices didn't seem crazy. That's one of those things that I'm like making mental list of like, all right, I'm gonna have to get Jay to figure out these, because like they're not super expensive, and there were like 10 of them in the but there's no way you could get that home. So
I was sitting like cross-legged on the floor, just like staring at them, because they were like the bottom 2 shelves. And it was I saw those as well. They were awesome. But so I left Mandarake. So I did all of those in like literally like after dinner or after lunch, like we just hit up those stores. But the day before we get to Osaka, and Shelly orders room service, and like we're waiting on it because we're tired. It was like one of the kind of catch up days. And I was like, you know what? I'm more excited about going to Astro-Zombies than almost any store. So I'm like, I got to go to Astro-Zombies, and it's 4 minutes away. It's on in Nippon-bashi there. So like it's walking distance. So I zoom through there. I do stop in one of the big Toys R Us's just because it's like, hey, it's a legit Toys R Us. Got to check it out.
Yeah.
I did buy the kids stuff at the Toys R Us. So I did buy
cool.
that. Not kaiju related. They got a robot cat and a robot bullet train, or a motorized bullet train. But I went to Astro-Zombies, and oh my gosh, Jake, it was, you've seen me. Well, you saw me at Kaiju Go. Sometimes I get really like excited, and I'm just like, I want this one, this one, blah, 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 and I go crazy. I was like that at Astro-Zombies. And it's 2 stories.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in, and it's like right to the right, it's Sofubi, Godzilla, Ultraman Sofubi. Right to the front, it's like some Kaiju 1 stuff, whatever. And then like it's just walls and walls of everything from like Playmates Godzilla to X Plus to everything in between. Upstairs is a lot more like horror masks and statues, but also a ton of X Plus and a ton of like Bandai. It's a cool freaking store.
Yeah.
But I come in there and I grab some of my coolest pieces. The first one, nothing to do with Kaiju, but it is Kaiju 1, and they do awesome vinyl stuff from there. And I buy from their what do they call it? Their Tam Civet line, the Action Muscle soft vinyl toy line, where they have like the rip-off like Snake Plissken and rip-off Jack Burton.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Mad Max. They also now have a rip-off, not officially endorsed by the David Bowie estate, but I got a David Bowie vinyl toy.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I love David Bowie. So
That's amazing.
That's
That's
so
amazing.
put him down there with Snake Plissken. But other than that, they had this little side that had some vintage stuff. And I got these 2 Pachi unlicensed my guess is 1970s little like probably like carnival gifts, game gifts, little kites of a not Lion Maru and a not Spectreman.
Oh my god, those are cool.
$9 each. US dollars. Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
But yeah, here's like the
That
little
is-
kite on the back, or whatever. They might not be kites. I don't know. I just saw it and I was like,
That's
there's like
amazing.
these things in the back. They might just be like things you stand them on. I don't know.
How did you get that home in one piece? Like, how do you pack that?
So I shipped it, and actually in a second I'll show you what
Oh, did you ship it in like
they
a
were
box or something?
they were sandwiched in to be extra safe.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, they were super flat and
Okay.
very soft. Then the other 2 things I got at Astro-Zombies, which were 2 of my favorite pieces from our Toy Line of the Year nominee from Fewture Models and their Umezo Kazuo series, the Ultraman manga that came out when Ultraman came out, and they're kind of more stylized, realistic, cool versions. I picked up their version, the manga version of Jiros, which I
cool.
absolutely love this guy.
That's crazy looking.
Yeah, I mean, look at that guy. I love this line. The Bolton is just like horrifying and gross and awesome. I think they do have a Zarab, a Gygas, Ultraman. I mean, there's one more maybe I'm missing. Anyway, but the Jiros is my favorite. And then the Gygas section is pretty cool too. But anyway, love this one. This was like a no-brainer. I was going to buy this probably anyway, and there it was. And then the other one I got from Bandai. X T-Base, X FrogTree. They're from the Bando Namco from Godzilla, the art line. I got one of the red burning Godzillas from FrogTree. He was there at a really good price at Astro-Zombies, so I snagged him.
That's awesome. I saw one of those in a different store.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if is this what? Yeah. Very cool.
And then, so also in Osaka, you mentioned before, like I did have the ability to go to Awaji Island, which is like an hour and a half from Osaka, and it's it's a little trains and buses. There's one bus that we went actually in the Shin Godzilla bus. It was like the wrap.
That is awesome.
It was kind of cool. It takes you all the way to the island, and they take you to this thing called the Awaji Island Highway Oasis, and it literally is like right before you go into the park Nijigen no Mori. It's just big, like has like a dining hall, stores of course because it's Japan, and these beautiful gardens and stuff. And it's about a 25-minute walk into the park over bridges. It's beautiful. Like we walked there from the Highway Oasis. But Awaji Island is known for onions. They're Awaji onions. And so like Shelly, my wife, is the biggest fan of onions. Like she just loves, she would eat like an onion, like an apple. And so she, they had onion juice there with the Awaji Island. And literally they had this huge cart, and you would go and it was free, and you would get a cup and you would have the onion juice, you'd drink it, and you'd put your cup and based on what country you came from so they can see like who's been drinking it. It was all Japan and Korea. She was the only one from the US in there. But we had a lot of onion snacks. It was great.
How was it? I'm very interested by what that tasted like.
So I didn't have any of the onion juice. I had a lot
Why
of
didn't you try the onion juice, dude?
I was filming content.
You're excused.
I had about 7 other Awaji onion things.
That's enough.
Yeah. We still have some in our pantry, and they were all amazing.
Cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that about the onions, and I saw you posted a video or something of Shelly trying that stuff.
She loved it. Oh, she was great. She's like, it was like warm, like onion juice.
That's awesome.
But
sounds gross, kind of, but I would like to try it.
But Awaji Island is great. We had a great time ziplining, all the stuff. The Godzilla Museum there is wonderful. It's small, but the Destroya exhibit was still up. It was cool. I got to see the Final Wars Atragon to bookend the other one. So I had to have my trip of vacation for Atragon, but it was super fun. But the cool thing is, so if you book like the premium ticket, the VIP ticket, I think it's called, for Awaji Island, for the Godzilla piece, you get the zip line. They have like a shooting game, access to the museum, which you have to buy like a ticket for that part of it.
Yeah.
And you also get one of the coolest things, and this is what protected those kite things. This awesome, and it's reversible. So I'm gonna see how best to show it. This huge, awesome Awaji Island bomber jacket looking military jacket.
Jay.
And it has,
God.
So the patches, it has like Operation Awaji. It has a Force Beyond Control Godzilla thing. It has for the shooting game, the National Awaji Island Interception Godzilla something disaster Nigod. It has all these patches, and it has like Nigod on the back.
It's amazing.
But then you reverse it. It doesn't. It has like one patch, and it'll be hard to see here, but you'll love this. It's black, but it has this really detailed embroidered Shin Godzilla on the back. That's also in black. So like you have to get really close to
it just looks black to me.
Yeah.
I can see his teeth.
Yeah. So but it's
cool.
actually gorgeous. But this was, you get that if you get the VIP ticket. And I was like, that's worth the VIP ticket right there.
That's amazing.
And so they do have a cool gift shop that has like things like, we got our kids some like Godzilla and Mothra headband and stuff. I got another shirt that's getting washed right now, but it's a cool white shirt. It has a silhouette of Godzilla, and in it are all of the Heisei villains, and it said like Godzilla's enemies or something. It's like a very Japanese looking shirt. Very cool. But Awaji Island, that was my my big thing, was the jacket. And then last but not least of the whole trip, so we go back to Tokyo, and we stay in the Godzilla room, which is so cool. The thing that I did post this on the video, but the thing that like didn't know, you go in there and there's this like book, and it says all the stuff like, oh, the bathroom, if you push a button, like it looks like you're inside like inside a Godzilla control room. There's all this stuff. But if you sit down, change the TV to HDMI 2 and hit the green Godzilla button, and it says like, just wait and enjoy. And I'm like, okay. And so we do it, and then the lights go off, and then the TV starts like static, and it's like a news broadcast of like Godzilla's attacking, like it's like a lady, in a helicopter. The room starts vibrating and shaking. The Godzilla statue, and it like lights up, like whatever, and then it roars, and like it's this fake like newscast of him about to attack the Hotel Grocery Shinjuku. So it was really cool, like little things like that.
That's awesome.
That's like
amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. And the one thing, the huge Godzilla statue, when you go in there, it's only half a statue. but it's on a mirror. It's like based into a mirror, so it looks like the full
Oh,
thing.
that's
I didn't realize
crazy.
that until about 5 minutes in the hotel.
You can't. I didn't even tell that in the photos.
But we enjoyed it. Oh, and also, like, speaking of videos, on Awaji Island, like most theme parks, you have to get like the setup and the video, as you're waiting on all your rides at Universal or Disney. Toho did a custom one for Awaji for like why the Shin Godzilla is laying like that, like what your mission is, why you're ziplining.
Cool.
And it was really good. It was really cool. I thought it was
cool.
like a 10-minute video. It was very cool.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so we go into check in to our hotel. And he's like, "Oh, Godzilla room, okay." And he goes, "Hold on," and he comes back with like stuff. So you get all this free stuff, right? And it's like, it's small stuff, but like it's cool. You get like this commemorative Godzilla room coin, and the cool thing is like they engrave it. So it has like the Godzilla logo on it, or Godzilla here, and on the back it says Hotel Grocery Shinjuku, and it's Toku Toy Town engraved in this one. And then
amazing.
my name's engraved. Yeah, and then my name's engraved in the other one. And then so immediately when you go in, and you do this if you buy things in this, like we bought some like lattes with the Godzilla printed on the foam. Yeah. And based on how much you spend, you get to draw numbers like Ichiban Kuji prizes, and like you get stickers and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Whether you're in the room or not, like if you're in the hotel. And so the first thing, like when we check in, he's like, "Well, draw some numbers." I'm like, "Okay." And so my first one, I won this really cool leather Godzilla passport holder.
Wow.
Okay. So that was like, okay, awesome. And then we won like stickers, and they give you like a goodie bag. It had like one thing I had like a nice like water bottle, like some like little mini notepads with Godzilla.
Yeah. Just like all kinds of random.
Oh yeah,
that's
a bag of
cool.
coffee. I got this cool like 10th anniversary of the hotel pin.
That's cool.
Yeah. There were like these like postcards that you can get. That what I think was the coolest and the weirdest. Let me see if I can. Oh, here it is. As I knocked down something. Oh, so I'm like, little thing of paper clips. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, why do you need paper? Yeah, why do you need paper clips? Oh, they're Godzilla shaped paper clips.
Jesus,
look at that.
That's amazing.
And then you also get 2 figures by cast. So you get, and they come with a little stand that say Godzilla room on it, like, and they're done by cast who does a lot of cool stuff, but they're specific to the Godzilla room. That one's okay. But I love this one. This is one of him actually like destroying the hotel.
I saw a picture of that one from somebody else on Instagram, and I was like, where do you get that from?
Yeah.
And you just answered it. So cool.
Yeah. So those were like, I didn't like the paper clips, the postcards, the stickers, the water bottles, the figures. Yeah. That wasn't like that was like, you get that as a goodie bag if you
just give you shit.
Yeah. The passport holder was and the pin were the 2 that I won. And like, and everybody went like stickers is like the most common one. Like, I mean, I had like literally like 10 things of stickers. Yeah. I'm like, I just wanted coffee, and like, here's some more stickers. But it was super fun. And it was like I'll tell you, like, Shelly even like staying in the Godzilla room. She was like, this is like really cool. I thought I thought it would kind of be like tchotchke and kind of, whatever. She's like, no, like this is like, I see like why people want to stay here for this, because it's like very, very, very cool. And the floor is awesome. We get there, and I took a picture of it. Only in Japan at a Godzilla room, or Godzilla hotel. We go in and we're about to go in the lounge. We're like, we just need some coffee or something, like something to eat. The bar has like Bandai and X Plus toys in it. It's crazy. We go in, and literally there's a sign that says Godzilla pancakes are sold out. I'm like, only this place. But yeah, so that was we wrapped it up on a really fun night of getting free Godzilla stuff.
Yeah.
Godzilla Hotel.
That's awesome. The Godzilla Hotel is 100% like something I have to do on the next trip. We went in and we saw it, and we even though it says that if you're not a guest, you're not even supposed to be on the floor, lobby floor, which I thought was kind of insane. we went in there anyway and saw the Godzilla stuff and walked
Oh, the
in.
the GMK thing is awesome. Like that's a great
and it's
great
and it's
setup.
screen used. That's a screen used suit and Mothra. So went in and saw that, and walked up to the glass doors with the Godzilla head. You can't go out there anymore. Thanks to the guy who tried to jump off, but you can at least go see it. So we went in there, but man, staying there is a must. I tried to get a room, couldn't get it, but
and I don't know, like it was funny when I booked it, I was probably just going to do the view room, and those were sold out, and the Godzilla room was actually open. Well, and I don't know if they just opened it up earlier, the other one just sold out first, and so I was like, well, done.
Well, I imagine the Godzilla room, it must be way more than the view room as far as the price. It has to be, right? Because the view room is just a regular room, but you see, which is what I tried to book a view room.
Yeah.
And I was going to book 2 of them because there was a bunch of us, and I was like, let me try to book. And then I couldn't book 2 because it was gone. And I was like, well, maybe I could book 1. And it was sold out. And then, it was later on that you were like, well, I got the Godzilla room. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't even try for that. Maybe I should have, and just.
Well, you saw like right after we left, like literally the weekend, they announced that they're opening up a second Godzilla room.
There's a second Godzilla room.
Versus like.
So next time we go, we'll
book them both.
Yeah, I'll be like, Jay, get us some rooms.
I'll call my people. But no, it was super cool, and I mean, totally lucky and to grab it. But it was like I said, it was a perfect way to end an amazing trip for me. And actually, what better way to end it than like celebrating Godzilla? If not for him, we wouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Yeah.
Is that all your pickups? You got
that's all my pickups. All my pickups.
Right. I'm gonna run through the rest of mine. I'm gonna do it. We're running really long here, but
People love us though, Jake. It's okay.
I think I should show this off. This is not Kaiju related. It is not Godzilla related at all, but it is from Medicom. Medicom
you have to show this.
I almost didn't because I kind of forgot about it.
No, don't be silly. Yes.
Medicom did exclusive Star Wars Sofubi for Star Wars Celebration, and I bought their Sofubi Darth Vader. They had 5 different figures you could get, and part of me did want to get all of them, but I wasn't about to spend $900 buying it. They're not cheap. It was cheaper than I thought it was going to be, but they're not cheap. Jess got R2D2 and C-3PO. She bought both of them. So, but I bought the Darth
Craig
Vader.
Get those as well?
Craig and Abby bought the same too. Yeah. It's just like I think I was like, you know what? I either want them all or just one because it's too much money. And some of them I don't think look super great. Some of them I was like, well, I'm not buying that. But I thought the Darth Vader was the best one. Yeah, and he does have a little lightsaber, but it's in my box full of other stuff.
We talked about these on the show already, so you have to show it off.
Yeah, I had to get it, So got that. Cool. So I will do the rest of this stuff here. I bought a bunch of random stuff at the Ultraman stores. One, the Skytree Ultraman store, and then also the 2 Ultraman stores that were in Sukagawa. But what I did get, let's see. So in Sukagawa, I haven't even opened these yet, but they're like these, they're like flags that have the different, I don't even remember. Each one has an Ultraman and one of the kaiju that he faces, but they're like different. I should probably open these. And then
were those the ones that were hanging up in the they were in the store? Like they were
here, let me just open one really quick because it just to kind of show off what these are. But they had them in different colors and they're just like flags and some of the stores had them like framed or just hanging up and okay, so we got just like an Ultraman.
Gomer there,
That's not even the whole. There we go. So they're like a good size,
Yeah.
you know, and they got some
remember those
Japanese
hanging up.
stuff on them. Yeah, and I bought one of each. So it's the like traditional Ultraman. I don't know. I can't even remember who's on. Oh, this is Mother of Ultra. I thought was really cool. In the pose of the, and I don't even remember who's on this one. It's one of the other Ultraman. And then this is kind of like, I don't know if this is like a towel or something, but I just loved the like
the rag on
traditional,
there.
like very traditional Japanese style. Yeah, I haven't opened it. Listen, we'll open it together and see.
I love it.
I just thought it was cool, and it's like a little, almost like a tea towel type thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can figure out how to open this. We'll see who's on it.
Yeah, they had a lot of cool, like, whether they're handkerchiefs or bandanas, where like they had a lot of cool prints on it.
Dude, this is cool.
Oh, look at that. Red King and Ragon and Zeton and Dada. Look at all that.
Yeah, very cool.
Very cool.
Love that. So yeah, had to. It's kind of like a bandana, you know.
Yeah,
it's that,
I love that
size, but had to get
those
that.
stores in Sukagawa had a lot of stuff. Like they had a lot of merch, like food that was branded Ultra. They had everything. Like you could get like jars of hot sauce that were everything. It was
just like random shit. Jay, one of my favorite things that I picked up on the whole trip, and I had seen this online, and I was really hoping it was something that was still you could still get. You showed these off earlier. In Sukagawa, there is a temple, and they have the Ultraman themed, little with the
little sachet.
With your fortune in it.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so cool because, like, first of all, the whole fortune thing is cool. The fact that they do that at a lot of different temples in Japan. So it feels like kind of special. And then one temple in all of Japan, in all of the world, just happens to have Ultraman themed ones. So it feels like very much part of, our interests, but it also feels like a kind of a culture thing, and it feels like a cool thing to have.
Yeah.
So I got the Canagon.
Oh, look at that guy.
And it's just these are very cool. So
they are.
Yeah. I just think this is awesome. This is one of the coolest things we were able to pick up. So
every time I see him, though, I'll only think of Craig and his friend.
Yeah, Craig and his friend. I
Martina,
got some video
Ninja
of Craig and his friend. I picked up in the Ultraman store. I picked up a bottle of water that I saved
I forgot about
because
that.
it's amazing, and it's like basically like having a Sofubi. But I got Ultraman water, and it's just a bottle shaped like Ultraman. And I was like, I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is gonna look good on a shelf. So it's just an empty bottle of water. Got that.
I mean, everything was branded Ultraman in that town.
Dude.
Crazy.
Boom. Picked up some laser cut seaweed, Ultraman seaweed sheets. It's like just nori. And they're like laser cut like characters out of the seaweed, so you can add it to your Ultraman themed food that you cook. I love this kind of stuff, so cool. Jay. It's so silly to me. Hey, but that's not the only food related stuff that I picked up. I picked up this like Ultraman kids set of. Dude, come the fuck on. Look at that.
Look at that.
We got a spoon with all the ultras on it. We got a fork.
Oh my gosh.
We got a set of little kids' chopsticks.
Oh, those are adorable.
With little, hold on. There's little.
Are those Ultra heads?
Ultraman on the top there. I know they're very blurry because they're small, but they're on the top. I just love this stuff, man. And like all I'm 40 years old, but like all my plates and like cutlery are like Halloween themed. You know, they're like all my plates are a skull, and I will use this stuff. I was just like, oh, I want to be able to eat a meal and it all be Ultraman.
Yeah.
So I bought this. I bought this little case. Look at this. They're in a train. It's Ultraman piloting a train with all the kaiju and the aliens in the train car. And this is just a little case for your forks or your cutlery. I bought Ultraman. I bought Ultraman rice shapers. So it's Ultraman and Pigmon or Garamon or whoever, and you're supposed to put rice in it and like squeeze it. So then when you open it, it's like a rice ball in the shape of Ultraman's head. Which you can then take the nori, the seaweed, and
makes sense. Yeah,
and put it on. And then I also bought this little Ultraman bento box.
Oh, that's adorable.
You know, so I can start bringing my lunch to work. I just love these designs, how cute they are, and it's just a really simple, you know, bento box. But I just had to, and dude, they had way more of this stuff. There was a
toilet paper.
They had toilet paper. They had so much. Oh, you got to drink out of something.
Oh yeah,
you know. So I got this little Ultraman, like tea cup or juice cup or whatever.
You can pour your water from your Ultraman
plastic.
Water bottle into that.
Fuck yes, dude. Another thing that I bought at the Ultraman, I bought this at the official Ultraman store in the Skytree. I don't know why these are so cool to me. Had to have the Ultraman socks.
That is amazing.
Had to have this, Jay.
Oh my gosh.
I love these. So Jess bought a pair of Family Mart socks.
I like that. That's actually really funny too.
But these are cool.
Man, you ready to have like an Ultra dinner party with all that cutlery?
I cannot wait to film a little video of me like putting the socks on and making a plate of food, you know, dumplings, and using all my Ultraman
feeding
stuff.
It to your Buskas and your Pigmons and everything. It'll be amazing.
The rest of my pickups are books that I will show off. Jay, you showed this one off. Picked this up from the Godzilla store, the Godzilla book. Yeah. Really cool stuff in here.
The
lots of great photos of the puppets, like behind the scenes stuff, like really clear photos of everybody. I really, really desperately want there to be more Godzilla merchandise in the world. Was really happy to see this, so pick that up.
And I saw in Shinjuku the not for sale little Minya thing that was there.
I still want to know what that is. I still want to know what.
She just grabbed it and said,
"It's amazing." Here's a book, just like kind of a random book I picked up in a Mandarake. This was like $4, and it's just like this Godzilla magazine. But it's cool because I just like that it says 3D. Monsters Catalog in 3D, and it's got like a merchandise thing on the back, and it's basically just a book of kaiju designs, and it's weird because some of them. A lot of these look kind of computer generated, but it's not just Godzilla. It goes on, you know, there's Kamen Rider stuff. Cool. There's Ultraman. There's like some toys and stuff in here. It's just like a random book that I was like, hey, this looks like it might have cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
And then I picked up, this one is one of those, this was $2, Jay. And it's one of those, you see them everywhere. You see these everywhere, but they're the kind of books where, like, if we saw this at a convention in America or at a, you know, in a store, it probably would have been $40. You know, it's like whatever. But in Japan, they were in every bookstore, and they were it was literally like 400 yen or something like that. And it's just this little like Godzilla versus Space Godzilla book.
Love that.
What I love about it is it's got the kind of cartoony artwork on the back, and it's weird. It's got like
best Nogueira's ever looked.
It's got just like some behind the scenes stuff about the movie in it, but it also has pages of like merchandise, and it just shows like some of the Godzilla versus Space Godzilla stuff that came out around that time, and then it has a comic in it. It's got like a really amazingly drawn comic that's just the story of the movie. And then let's see, once you get past that, there's just more like behind the scenes promo photos, stuff like that. But then in the back, it's got a couple pages of like how to draw cartoon Godzilla and like little activities for kids, and they're those really cute drawings and stuff.
That is $2 well spent.
$2. I just thought it was cool, man. Yeah. I feel this next book, I feel like I made a little bit of the wrong decision. I really wanted to get some Ultra Q stuff, and there were lots of Ultra Q books. I sent you a picture of the one that I probably should have bought and didn't, but I did pick up this weird little book that is like, it's an Ultra Q Ultraman best book. That's why I bought it. It says it's the best one.
It's the best one.
And it's just got like it kind of goes through all the different kaiju, and it has like a page for each episode of Ultra Q.
Oh, nice.
And just some info, and then about halfway through the book it switches over to like the first season of Ultraman, and it's just, it's the best book. It's just the best book. So I picked it up. This was another book that was, I think I paid $3 or $4 for that. And then I picked these two up as a set. I thought this was really cool. Some old vintage Ultraman mangas.
You showed me those. That cover art.
Yeah.
Is ridiculous.
Number 1 and number 2. And the art in these is awesome. It just looks really good. I looked through both of these, and there's so many kaiju in here. Like, it's just like page after page of like, oh, here's this guy, or here's Baltan, here's Pigmon's in a couple of these, and there's just, the artwork looks really classic. And I just love all the Ultraman poses and stuff. I was surprised. Also, really cheap, Jay. Like, these were packaged together, wrapped, and they're clearly old copies. Really cheap stuff. So this book that I picked up, I had seen photos of this before when doing searches for I'm gonna have you help me on his name, but Shinji Nishikawa does all the really great Godzilla art, and I've done like searches for his stuff before, and this book has popped up. But I remember always being confused, not knowing what it is, because the pictures that do pop, there's not a lot, but I just happened to see it on a shelf, and it was completely out of my mind until I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's that book that I've seen. So it's called Godzilla Legend.
Oh yeah, you showed me this one. Yeah.
And it's it's all Shinji's artwork. And dude, it is got, look at this this little grandpa Godzilla. It is amazing. I have no idea what the story is, but there's like there's like hundreds of little Godzillas all over the place. And then it's like there's really cute little Godzillas, but then all of a sudden there's like legit, versions of, like, look at that, dude. That's artwork in this.
Yeah. His stuff is always amazing.
He does some of the best Godzilla stuff I've ever seen. And this book, I'm gonna go through it, dude. Look at all the gargantuas over here.
Oh my god,
what is happening? It's like a bunch of little gargantuas. I'm gonna like have to go through and translate and actually read this, because I have no idea what's look at this. Look at Godzilla facing Mechanicon here.
Battle of the Mechs. There. You know what we need? I want just like a black shirt that has that logo on it and it says MASH under it. Like just
dude. Hey, look at this. It's a Mechagodzilla car.
Oh my gosh, we need that.
This book is one of my favorite things that I found. I'm so glad I found this in Japan.
Can you trade your Jurassic Park car in for a Mechagodzilla car?
I hope so. It's great, man, because all kinds of kaiju show up in this, and then the last back of the book are just photos of art. But what's really funny is it's Godzilla in the Diet building that I was talking about earlier. I was trying to get to. Yeah, it's awesome. There's just there's just great art in here. This is awesome. I'm so happy to get this.
Yeah, I mean, Nishikawa is very cool. And I'd never seen that book, and that just that's awesome. That is you could just sit there and look at that for days.
Excuse me, just a couple more books I picked up. This is just I had Googled this to see what this was. Mm-hmm. It's called Hero.
Yes, I've seen that before. Yeah.
Have you seen it? So it's just like a really thick book.
Yeah. And
all it is like really great. It's just really great photography of
Tokusatsu guys.
Of all Tokusatsu. It's like Ultraman and Kamen Rider and things that I don't even know what they are, but they're all really big.
Yeah, I love that.
Clear,
like
beautiful photos from the shows and from the episodes. And it's hard to find a lot of really good clear pictures from some of the older Ultra. It's not in HD. It's not.
No, it's in the 60s and early 70s. Yeah,
there's 100%. Just tons of it. I just thought this was a cool book, and this one was not as cheap, but
that's a cool book.
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy or anything, but it is when you can't look through. When you can't look through a book, when it's like a $50 book and you can't look in the inside, you're like, oh, should I buy this?
Yeah, no, that was a good purchase. I've seen that one a few times. Like it's a good book. Like you made a good purchase there.
So this other one I got, which is a really cool book, is called Dream Creator. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It's a Tsuburaya.
That's really cool.
It's a Tsuburaya book, and this has tons of concept art. And it's got like kaiju concept art, early stages, early versions.
I want all those kaiju. We need to make all those kaiju.
Dude, it's got let's see. There's so much Busca in here. There's early like Ultraman. Look at this this twin tail.
Oh, very cool.
Just really weird
Fireman up there.
Versions of
Mirror Man.
Kaiju. And it's got a lot of the like Busca cartoons. Here we go. Look at this. It's just like a bunch of Busca
on his rocket ship.
Yeah, dude. Just weird shit. And then it goes on, it's got a bunch of like storyboards for shows. And I think some of this is scripts for some early shows. And then there's just like a lot of production photos from all different Tsuburaya stuff. And then when, you get to, just pages of photos, it's just like, it's cool. This is like a really cool behind the scenes Tsuburaya book. And it has all sorts of weird shit. And then there's like diagrams for just different ships and suits. Shit, I don't even know what half of this stuff is. But then look at this, man. Like, what is going on here? Look at this, like, early Busca stuff from, like...
That's very cool.
Concept art or
stuff creeping out little kids. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty crazy. It's awesome. Really happy with this book.
Yeah. Once again, I need a t-shirt with that logo on, that cover on it.
Yeah. Jay, I got one more thing here.
Yeah.
And this one's cool because so we were at the Tsuburaya Museum, and like you were saying earlier, it's like as you exit the museum, it's like kind of like a kid's library, like a kid's activity center. And there was a little library rolly cart with a bunch of books on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all like just kaiju books. But there was a book that was like a children's book about Subaraya. And it was like all the drawings in it were like the classic children's book illustrations. But it's like Godzilla and Ultraman, and I was just like, this is amazing. Like, this is just amazing. I need this. And you found it like that night and ordered it. And when I got back from Japan, it was waiting on me.
There was one on the auction site, and I'm glad that it wasn't crazy.
Thank you so much. And this is it. It's just so like cool. Look at this. It is a children's book that has like, little, almost like color pencil style artwork, but of Varan, like, and what's really funny to me is that it's got a lot of pictures of Subaraya smoking, and that's just, and I mean, like, he's smoking here. There's this great Godzilla. And I mean, it's fun. He was always, anytime you see photos, he's smoking. But just the fact that, like, look at this. Here's a children's book illustration of Subaraya, not just smoking, but holding a pack of cigarettes.
Like, buy this one, kid.
Directing Godzilla. I just think this is amazing. This is such
a pack of cigs a day, and you can direct Godzilla too, kids.
These are the kind of books you don't see very often. No. You know what I mean? Like a true chill. Like, this would be in a little kid's library. Ultraman. I fell in love with this book. I just think it's very cool.
You know what? So where that cart was that you're talking about, how cool was it that there was like a little classroom of kids, and they're in that little room, and like, like you see like museums a lot, or in some other like play areas where they're like, you do your drawing and it projects it on the screen and stuff.
Yeah,
they're doing that with like kaiju stuff. I'm like,
kaiju.
These little kids are in a library learning with like Subaraya created kaiju and stuff like that. I'm like, that was the coolest. I was mad because I wish that was how I was taught, but also like that was like only in Tsukagawa, right? Like, that was so cool that we talk about the reverence in the museum, but also like, though these things are in like the education portion as well.
Well, it's also I felt like those little kids because like I'm running around like, ooh, look at the Godzilla stuff, and all the kids are doing the same thing, and we're like, I'm all freaking out. I took some video of it, but like around the other side of that wall, it's plastered with like color like colorings and drawings that the kids had done. But it was like the same, it's like they have a sheet that they print out and give the kids, and they all color it. And
they all buy they all flowers.
I wish. It was all Ultraman though. It was all Ultraman, and I took some pictures and footage of it because I just thought it was so cool to see all these like kids drawings and stuff of just Ultraman. I was like, what the fuck?
And that's the coolest stuff on the whole trip. Those moments are like the best. Like, being in an empty barn and alley, seeing kids like they're drawing like things that we would have loved to have done when we were that.
Yeah.
Like, those are the moments that'll always stick with you on trips like this, even more so than the food and the toys and everything. It's like those moments are just amazing. Well, maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally like a trip of a lifetime. It was super fun. I had the best time I've ever had anywhere. I would move to Japan if I could. I've been seriously like looking up how do I get a 2-year visa or something. Like, it's just everything about it. The people, the food, the public transportation, the toilets, the lack of politics or church or just like everything was great. It was just like
lack of trash and terrible smells,
lack of trash,
lack of crime, the lack of all
chill. There were no school shootings while we were over there. It was it was just awesome. Everything about it was awesome. It was Godzilla everywhere. We both bought a bunch of stuff. I feel like I didn't buy enough. But I
go back next week.
I know in my heart that we're all already thinking of like what we're going to be doing on the next trip. And it's clearly like when you think about going out of the country, it is like a big thing, like this is the third time I've been out of the country, and it was the hardest It was the most expensive. It was the longest travel days. You know, it was, but it's none of that means anything to me.
No.
Like we're gonna be going back. I know it. So this has been a fun, really long extra episode. I'm glad we're back.
You said 4 hours. We're gonna be close to 3.
Hey, we almost hit 3. It is 1:15 in the morning, and I'm gonna go to bed. Jay, do you got anything else to talk about?
Go to bed.
Or?
No, we're good.
We're going to bed. We'll see you guys later. Peace.